Hi, this is Troy Five Ash, owner of Five Ash Roofing. If you're in need of a roof, there's no better place to start than Five Ash Roofing. No matter what your situation is, we have you covered. We can walk you through the insurance process without committing fraud like many of my competitors. You'd be surprised how many times salesmen and contractors will manufacture storm damage just so they can get a sale. We do residential, multifamily, and commercial work. We're certified in every form of roofing we offer. Our labor warranties are for the life of the shingle, and we don't charge extra for that. And to my knowledge, there's no other roofing company in Memphis offering that level of security. And if that's not enough, we offer a best price guarantee. We are the official roofer of the University of Memphis Athletic Department and a proud member of the Tigers home team. Five Ash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Jim Gaffigan, Secrets and Pies Tour.
Have you been to one of the weddings where the groom removes the girder belt from the bride and flings it to a crowd of perverts? Who came up with that one?
Hey, you know the bride throws the bouquet? How about something for the fellas? Maybe the bride's underwear?
Jim Gaffigan, Saturday, August 17th, FedEx Forum. Reserve seats on sale now at the FedEx Forum box office or online at Ticketmaster.com.
Got something you want to get off your chest?
You better have a backup plan.
Want to join the conversation?
Someone needs to tell him he has to grow up.
Join us on the First Bank phone lines at 360-8255 or the First Bank text line at 67129. Now, back to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Dave Wolochin and Brett Norsworthy.
67129 to text in at the First Bank phone line, 360-8255. At the First Bank phone line, and First Bank, they know what you need. You need reliable, trustworthy Memphis bankers that can give you an answer. They make the decisions for Memphis, right here in Memphis, about you, for you, right here, made in Memphis. A direct answer from the First Bank banker you're dealing with. Visit firstbankonline.com. That's firstbankonline.com. Build your success story with First Bank. They all have deep Memphis roots in banking and business experience, and they want to help you out. Great locations on Germantown, in Germantown, one on Poplar, two on Highway 64, one in Bartlett, one in Oakland. 4 great locations in Memphis. Newer to Memphis, but not to Tennessee. First Bank, third largest bank, headquartered in the state of Tennessee. Build your success story with First Bank. That's firstbankonline.com. 67129 First Bank text line, 360-8255 First Bank phone line. As I said, busy weekend in baseball, busy weekend in preseason football. If you want to take your chance with that out there in the wagering world, but college football on the way next Saturday. 2 games, the big one, Miami Hurricanes against the Florida Gators to kick off college football 150th season. That's a fun way to start. That game was moved up from August 31st to some consternation because a lot of people had already bought tickets and made hotel plans for the following weekend, but college football moved it up a week earlier, and it'll be here next week, and I'm glad it is. Also next week, Arizona and Hawaii. That won't have quite the interest that Miami and Florida will have, but to talk about it next week and today in the college football season all year, every week, joining us at this time from the Goal Sheet on Twitter at Bruce A. Marshall's, our friend Bruce Marshall from the Goal Sheet. And Bruce, this is it. After this weekend, 21 straight weekends with college football. We've made it.
Yeah, they start playing for keeps. You're right. Next week, Brett, and actually I'm down in Orlando here today, just moving grandbaby down here, and they're playing that Miami game with the Gators next week, just down the road from me here. I'm going to bet you that crowd is 80% at least a Florida crowd.
Oh, it'll be Gators.
When they play that.
Yeah,
it'll be a huge Gator crowd next week in Orlando. So I'm pretty sure they're a justifiable favorite at that price. And if those teams met at the end of last season, Brad, this number would have been higher. Florida was really playing well at the end. We remember the bowl game against Michigan when Felipe Franks looked so good, 41-15 Gators. And Florida and Miami the other way, just really, I think Mark Richt decided to quit because the way the team just played so badly at the end of the year, including that loss to Wisconsin in the bowl game up in New York. So I think that number actually looks pretty fair for the Florida side by my reckoning right now.
Bruce, yesterday we discussed a lot of lists with college football, 150th year. There are a lot of lists out there, best rivalries, best teams, best stadiums, best tailgates, overrated, underrated, all that good stuff that goes out there. I don't get too fired up about any of it because, look, people can have their own opinion. Some people prefer orange sherbet. Some people like chocolate ice cream. I mean, whatever floats your boat, let that happen. I'm not going to throw down over that. But I will have this one. Can a team like Miami that really did it in a kind of a small burst of college football, they had some successes before, but really with Howard Schnellenberger and that upset of Nebraska, did they do enough can you do enough in a short amount of time to get in the elite club?
Well, it depends on how long you're measuring it, Brett. I mean, in the 80s, sure. I mean, Miami was
over
there.
150 years.
But just sporadically, no, I don't think you can. I mean, I wouldn't count Miami as an elite program, over the last, 50, 60 years, just because they did it in a very short period of time. They really haven't, in 20 years. So, they probably fall in that category, and maybe, they're even a little bit different than, the Tennessees and the UCLAs, which had longer periods of real relevance, I think, than Miami. But it really is kind of a short burst for the Hurricanes. And, yeah, they won a little bit in the 60s there when Charlie Tate was there. But, the history of the program there really, is that period of time with Schnellenberger and Jimmy Johnson and Erickson in that, about a 12 to 15-year span. So, yeah, I'm not sure I'd have the Hurricanes, at that plateau with some of the other programs, although for a certain period of time they definitely were.
Notre Dame's now been since the 1988 season, last winning a national championship. Plenty of good, respectable teams. They had one last year. They had one in 2012. They've had others, but no Heisman Trophy winner since 87 in Tim Brown. No national championship since 88. How long, all right, what's the other side of the shelf life? How long could Notre Dame go but still be in all these lists for what they did over the long march from Rockne to Lay to Parsegian to Holtz and others in between, Dan Devine and others in between?
That's a good question, Brett. And I think at some point, those of us who remember Notre Dame in the glory years, we're getting kind of old now. And I guess, Holtz, sort of had some success there. Well, he did. He won a national title. I think Holtz, he was really the last great coach, I think, they've had there. Brian Kelly, maybe the book's not closed on him yet. I don't know if I'd quite put him in that category yet, but Notre Dame used to measure things by national championships. I wonder how long Notre Dame is going to continue along those lines to be able to dictate its terms and its membership in the college football hierarchy and to be able to pull a TV contract by itself. I'm telling you, you talk to people around the country, not just when we were down in Hoover last month, but, people around the country. The Notre Dame thing has lost a lot of luster, mainly because they haven't been winning national titles for so long, over 30 years, like you say. People talk about the SEC now the way they used to talk about Notre Dame. So, at some point soon, they're going to have to, it's going to have to start happening again, or at least they need one national championship. I was thinking the other day, I was talking with some people about, even the College Football Hall of Fame in the last, 40 or so years hasn't taken that many Notre Dame guys in. They have a lot of representation from the old days. And, talking about the Notre Dame Heisman winners, you mentioned Tim Brown. And if I'm not mistaken, before that, it was Heward, I think. And I used to think it was great. I made a case for Ian Book maybe should be considered for the Heisman this year, thinking, well, he's a Notre Dame quarterback. Then I started thinking about it, and I go, it's been a long time since a Notre Dame quarterback. And they have had some great ones, too, in the last 55 years. Better than Heward, I think, but none of them won the Heisman, so I'm not sure that all applies to Notre Dame anymore.
No, I'm not sure it does either. Bruce Marshall, our guest from the Gold Sheet. We talk odds and we talk the history of college football with one of the foremost historians that I have ever encountered about sports and particularly about college football. He the depth and breadth of the knowledge from our guest Bruce Marshall is quite fascinating and overwhelming what all you've known and that you've seen. All right, with some of these college football powerhouses, it feels like Texas is about to reemerge. Michigan just needs to get over that Ohio State thing, and they're going to be back in that elite club. Nebraska, it sounds like Scott Frost, for a 4-8 team, a lot of people really liking them. USC, a little bit in the wilderness right now. All of the big boys can't be good at the same time, can we? I mean, Alabama had their step back years. Look, Dabo got hired in the middle of a year for Clemson for a reason.
You're right, Brad. I mean, and that's the point here. I mean, none of these places, when even, Notre Dame in the time when Joe Kihara came there, now they did some different things with scholarships and all that made it tougher, but you don't win big unless you've got a great coach. And, Alabama people, I mean, a lot of them are forgetting they didn't win big with Mike Shula. We talked about this last month, I think. They didn't win big with Franchione. They won not big with Mike DuBose. Gene Stallings won enough to keep him satisfied there, but, it's you have to have the coach. Look what USC is going through right now. My first story this year, the first Gold Sheet in 2 weeks, I'm going to recall what was a great rivalry in the 60s, UCLA and Tennessee. A lot of people forgot about what a great especially that it was great games. And that opening game in 67, the Rose Bonnet game in 65 in Memphis, right there at your Liberty Bowl. It was a great rivalry, but that's what I'm sort of talking about with those programs in those years with Doug Dickey and Tommy Prothro. I mean, that was elite, but Tennessee's a good example too. I mean, they, without a great coach, they're no different than anybody else. If they get a great coach, they're going to win. But Notre Dame, Texas, USC, Alabama, if you don't have that big time coach, you're not going to win.
You got to have that magic maker.
Got to have that magic maker. And I'm not sure Jim Harbaugh, by the way, is it at Michigan. I'm needing to be convinced. He's losing every big game he plays. He's a little bit of a different sort as we know. So I'm not sure he's going to be the guy to lead Michigan back to the top. They're good. Are they going to get where they used to be with Bo? I don't know. Tom Herman, yes, I think he is going to be the guy at Texas. Harbaugh, not sure at all at Michigan.
And clearly Lincoln Riley is it at Oklahoma.
Yes. And yes, I mean, that has worked out better than they could have dreamed at Oklahoma. I think they're a little bit worried, though, and they were always worried about Bob Stoops, jumping ship, and he lasted almost 20 years there. But they're worried the NFL is going to come for Lincoln Riley, maybe sooner rather than later. I mean, they're trying their darndest to keep him. I don't think he's going to jump to any other college program. But what if Jerry Jones calls him after this year? What if the Cowboys kind of stumble? I mean, Dallas Cowboys, if that opened up, and some people think that might be where Jerry goes if Jason Garrett gets the plug pulled on him. Oklahoma's justifiably worried about that, I think.
And when we talk about college football dynasties that have not had the success of late, in the NFL, the Cowboys, they in Washington, in their division, they lead that. It's been a long time.
Oh, yeah. I mean, both of them. And Washington, it's a long, dry spell that really reflects the Dan Snyder era there. And Jerry's at least won some Super Bowls, but it's been a while for the Cowboys too. And yeah, you're right. It goes cyclically, and I think just talk about the Cowboys for a second. That Jason Garrett has hung on as long as he has there. I'm convinced earlier in his career, Jerry's mellowed some, and maybe he sees himself in Jason Garrett, so he's given him a lot more rope. But Jerry went for a while there, moving coaches in and out, as did Dan Snyder actually with the Redskins. I mean, he moved in and out a lot of coaches. It's hard to believe Jay Gruden has lasted longer than Spurrier did there. He's lasted longer than Mike Shanahan
Marty
did there. He's lasted longer than Joe Gibbs too.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe these owners are mellowing, but they're not winning anymore.
Who's the team in the NFL that you think there's real value on the season win total? Maybe somebody posted out there at a 6 or 7 that you think would easily go to the playoffs. Here's mine, and they should have won the AFC and represented the AFC in the Super Bowl 2 years ago. A summertime darling last year. The time was up on Blake Bortles. They had a rotten year. A lot of things went on. Defensive back never could be quiet. Fournette can never be healthy. Really quiet for the Jags this offseason. I think they take a big step up. What's your team for the big step up? Maybe floating around out there at 5.5, 6 win total they're going to blow through that and maybe make noise in a playoff.
And I've been changing my opinion on this as we go through the summer. And there's some teams du jour out there. I actually think the Giants might have a chance. And I'll tell you why. I think the East, there's going to be some room in the East. Dallas could have some issues. And although Zeke is going to report, he will not hold out during the season. It doesn't make sense for him to do it. But I'm not sure. If Amari Cooper has his plantar fasciitis, that's not an injury that goes away real quick. And his ability last year to make big plays changed the dynamic at Dallas. Dak's got this contract thing out there. It's not resolved yet. I'm not sure Dallas is going to be that overwhelming. Philadelphia, another quarterback got hurt last night. Now it's just a concussion. Well, just a concussion, but, Kessler's out. Given Carson Wentz has not been able to stay upright for a full season the last 2 years, you got to wonder about his durability. Washington looks like Jay Gruden. We mentioned him a second ago. I doubt he lasts into 2020. I think the East is going to provide an opportunity for the Giants to make a move. The second year with Saquon Barkley, they've figured some things out, I think, already. He's going to be more featured. I think Pat Shurmur knows what he's doing, although the record numbers don't indicate it yet, but everything is there. Now, the question is, can they squeeze one more year out of Eli? That I don't know. But you're just talking about win total that I think is fair, where there's an opportunity for this team to get above 500 and maybe push into the playoffs, because I don't think their division is that overwhelming. I actually think the Giants might be undervalued. I wouldn't have said that a while back, but just surveying the landscape right now, I don't think they're going to be that bad. In the second year for a coach like that, sometimes it works a little better too. So that's a team I'd watch in the NFC East.
And he was close to, I thought he deserved a little more time in Cleveland. Bruce Marshall, tell our listeners more about the Gold Sheet and how they can access all this good information.
Thanks, Brett. Check us out online, goldsheet.com. Hey, I got my Gold Sheet top 40 in there. So we're ready to move on to NFL previews for the rest of August. But for right now, we got to finish up the college previews, and our top 40 is up there right now as we get ready for the kickoff week 0, as you mentioned, next week, those 2 games, and then a big card the week after that. Goldsheet.com, by the way, 6-1 thus far in preseason plays. Goldsheet.com, my picks up there, also VegasInsider.com, and the Twitter at Bruce A. Marshall.
Bruce, thank you. Have a great weekend. Enjoy that grandbaby.
I will. We'll talk to you next week, Brett. Thanks.
You got it. Bruce Marshall with the Gold Sheet, usually joining us from Las Vegas. He's been all over the world this summer and now down in Florida with one of his grandchildren. I know he's glad to do that. When we come back, we talk about the Touchdown Club and their very special guest coming up on Monday night, Mr. College Football Tony Barnhart. We'll visit with John David Bedour from the Memphis Touchdown Club. That's next, rounding out Hour 1. You're listening to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Sports 56 now has 2 FM homes. You can now find Real Sports Talk on 96.1 as well as 87.7 on your FM dial.
Campbell Clinic now offers daytime walk-in care, and you don't need an appointment. If you've got any kind of urgent break, sprain, strain, you can walk into any of their 5 convenient locations Monday through Friday from 8 until 4. There's no long wait you have to put up with the ER, and those doctors are really good, but they're not orthopedists. They're not world-renowned orthopedists who have come up with different procedures and written the manuals for them that are used everywhere in the world, and I'm not kidding you. And you can now see those doctors who treat the Tigers, the Grizzlies, the Redbirds. You can see them today without an appointment. And I'm talking Collierville, Germantown, South Haven, downtown at the Med Center, or even the Campbell Clinic Spine Center in Cordova. Now, if you've got something pressing, you got to go to work, and you can bear the pain until the evening, there's Campbell Clinic After Hours. That's Monday through Thursday from 5 to 8 in Germantown, South Haven, even Saturday morning in Germantown. If you're injured, don't wait. Visit Campbell Clinic Walk-In Care or Campbell Clinic After Hours.
Hi, this is John Conway with Conway Services. Have you ever noticed your air conditioning system never breaks down at a good time? We know at Conway Services the timing's not always right to replace your air conditioning systems. That's why we have financing options available. Right now, during the dog days of summer, get your new Carrier air conditioning system for as low as $99 per month. That's right, Conway Services has new Carrier air conditioning systems as low as $99 per month. Now, you could do that. Plus, your new air conditioning system comes with a 10-year parts warranty, a free Nest thermostat, and with Conway Services, you'll be receiving our award-winning service every time. So call Conway Services, the Mid-South's premier heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric service company at 384-3511. That's 384-3511. And the first 30 callers with a 10-year-old air conditioning system will come out and inspect it absolutely free.
Call 384-3511. Conway Services. Call Conway today.
Season tickets for the 2019 Memphis Tigers football season are on sale now and start at $100 when you buy 4 in the Family Fun Zone and $150 for end zone seats. The 6-game home schedule is highlighted with matchups against regional foe Ole Miss, plus AAC rivals Cincinnati and Navy. A season ticket includes the same great seat for all 6 home games, plus priority options to buy single game tickets, bowl tickets, and more. Be part of the incredible game day experience and get your seats today at GoTigersGo.com or call 901-678-2331. Stripe up.
Now, back to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Dave Wolochen and Brett Noseworthy.
Another great lineup of speakers this year for the Memphis Touchdown Club. They will meet most weeks at the Hilton Memphis on Mondays at 5:30. September 16th, Mike Norvell, head coach of the Tigers. September 30th, head coach of the Razorbacks, Chad Morris. But kicking things off coming up this Monday night will be Mr. College Football, Tony Barnhart, to visit with us about it. John David Bedour from the Memphis Touchdown Club. And John David, I know you got single event pricing, full membership, 5-event pack. If they want to come here and come to the event and enjoy college football, you got a price structure just about for everybody. Good afternoon, John David.
Stats, good to hear from you. That's right. The best way to do it is to go to tdcmemphis.com, TDC Touchdown Club, tdcmemphis.com, and get the information about any and every meeting. And it's open to the public. Most people like to wear khakis, a sports shirt. We have some people come in suits, but you can pretty well come any way you want, and you'll meet a lot of friends and talk a lot of football, which is, Stats, aren't you glad it's in the air?
I'm glad it is here for sure, John David Bedour. I am ready. I'm always ready for college football. And Tony Barnhart is always ready. And when I was visiting with him at SEC Media Days, he was ready for a Monday night with you guys. And things will get started at 5:30 with a social hour, and the talking will begin a little bit later, and a lively Q&A always.
It is, and Tony lays out who he thinks will win in each conference in football. He'll break down the whole SEC, all the local teams, and then he picks every year the top 4 teams and who he thinks is going to win the whole national championship and why. And, Tony travels to schools all during the preseason, like right now, and gets a lot of inside information. And that's really what we do as a Touchdown Club, is give a unique look inside college football that you really can't get over the internet.
No, you really can't. John David, through the years, this club started in 1975 and merged with the Quarterback Club a few years ago. But I would think through the years at the Touchdown Club, wherever the event has been held through the years, I can't think of a single big-name coach, media person, administrator that hadn't been through Memphis to the Memphis Touchdown Club.
That's true. You were talking about Jerry Jones earlier. We've had him twice, and we've had Nick Saban 3 times. And going back in the 70s and all, and really, when the Liberty Bowl was only one of the 7 bowls, we had a lot of coaches that wanted to come speak to the Touchdown Club, sir, to get in with Bud Dudley to try to get to one of the 7 bowls, which was the Liberty Bowl then. Including Coach Woody Hayes, and there was a picture just a few years ago, is it Memphis Memories, that section of the paper that featured Woody Hayes and Tim Treadwell, Reggie Barnes at the Touchdown Club. That's right. It's a lot of glory years, and we've tried to keep it going the best we can and bring you the best lineup, and with 4 SEC coaches and maybe 5 on Alabama night if Nick decides to come. And the other local coaches in Memphis and Arkansas State, Barton Simmons, who's the top guy at 24/7, and he lists the top 100 players in the country. That's his sole job there, amongst evaluating other players. And then we're going to have one other meeting we haven't announced. It's $300. You get 10 meetings, 10 great meals. Really, it's the best value anywhere in the country in sports.
And a great meal and good time. Single event pricing, full membership, 5 event pack. Tony Barnhart, Mr. College Football for years at the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, also now with the SEC Network, CBS Sports. He will be the speaker on Monday, September 16th, Mike Norvell. The 30th, Chad Morris. October 7th, Blake Anderson. October 21st, Matt Luke. November 4th, Joe Moorhead. November 11th, Jeremy Pruitt. You mentioned Barton Simmons that we often have on this show. November 25th, and maybe Alabama night, and for sure an AutoZone Liberty Bowl night. John David, it's going to be fun, and we are glad to have you on with us on Friday.
Yeah, thank you. We're going to have a prep player, even though it hadn't started, we're going to have a prep player. It's always an honored senior player. And let me just take a minute and speak. Our honored player is a guy named Ray Curry Jr., offensive tackle, White Station.
Yeah.
6'6", 295, and that's pretty lean for 6'6".
He's already committed to Mizzou, hasn't he?
Already committed. And to Coach Barry out of Missouri. And, every time we have a team in the AutoZone Liberty Bowl, they always come back and get one of the top players in the city the next year, whatever team comes in here and plays.
That sure do.
And so this is a really good player. This guy's got a lot of talent, and I think he'll have a great future at Missouri.
Prep Players of the Week every week from the AutoZone Liberty Bowl with the Memphis Touchdown Club. John David, we'll visit again next Friday. Knock 'em dead Monday night. It's going to be fun. Thank you.
We hope to see you there, too.
You got it. Appreciate it. John David Bedour with the Memphis Touchdown Club and Tony Barnhart coming up this week. I mentioned October 7th, Blake Anderson, who is done a great job at Arkansas State. Remember when Arkansas State was just the conveyor belt of the one-year hitches, all the coaches? They did well, but they got out of there. He has stayed.
Yeah, but they kept the program going pretty darn well with the rotating door.
They did, but he has provided the stability. He is now the dean of coaches in the Sun Belt, 8 straight bowl games for Arkansas State. And his personal story, look, we all could be gone by sunset tonight, but he is going through the last days with his wife, who has really been a champion battling cancer. His story, it's amazing what a great caregiver, husband, great partner to his wife, but also still coaching his football team and leading the Arkansas State football program. On Monday, October 7th, of the coaches, of all the people coming this year, that's one you need to circle. He's got a heck of a story to tell in his commitment to Jonesboro and to Arkansas State, his commitment to his wife. It is some story. When we come back, we start hour 2. We started every Friday afternoon talking Grizzlies with Peter Edmiston from right here at Sports 56. You're listening to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
It's happened again. Miramichi, that heaven in Woodstock, 15 miles north of downtown Memphis. Miramichi has been made the #1 public golf course in the state of Tennessee. 15 minutes from downtown, all this natural beauty, this very tough test of golf is there for you, and it's #1 again. They've improved again, too. They've made changes. They always do. They want you to have the best golfing experience you could possibly have, and they keep on making these adjustments. They've knocked down some trees. They made it easier. They have better conditions with grass. The greens, outstanding. And once again, they are #1. I also should tell you they've got new golf carts, and they've got these cool little things where you hook up your phone, it'll charge, and at the same time, you've got GPS on your phone. All kinds of innovation and a world-class golfing experience at Miramichi in Woodstock.
In today's evolving workplace, XMC understands the process of getting office work done has moved from the desktop to your pocket. The new Xerox multifunctional printers and Connect Key app technology are game changers. Are you working with confidential information? Does it need to be secure from unwanted threats? Do you need to translate documents to another language? Xerox's App Gallery provides solutions like secure printing and easy translator technology. XMC is the second largest exclusive Xerox agent in the U.S. with 9 locations to serve you. We've been in business for over 25 years and have received top awards from Xerox. In changing our world one experience at a time, our team's committed to doing what's right for your business. XMC is proud to be your leader in document and print management, and it'd be our pleasure to serve you. Contact XMC today at 888-814-3114 or visit our website at xmcinc.com. XMC, Excellence in Office Solutions.
Hi, folks. Bob Burkheimer for Sunrise Chevy. The Sunrise Chevy Ranch has over 500 new vehicles to choose from with interest low as 0% and rebates up to $7,500. A $5 million used car inventory specializing in late model GM certified and cars and trucks under $10,000. Bad credit, bankrupt, slow pay, it's okay. Sunrise gets you financed when no one else can. Check out the inventory and apply online at sunrisememphis.com or call us on the phone. Come in and see us, go online or call. Any way you do it, we'll save you money at the Sunrise Chevy Ranch, partner. 385 in Houston, Levy, and Collierville. Find new roads.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM, 96.1, and 87.7 FM, as well as online around the world at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere on your phone or tablet by downloading the Sports 56 app, and at home, tell Alexa or Google to play Sports 56. If it's happening in the world of sports, we've got it covered. Wherever you are, stay tuned to Real Sports Talk. Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7. We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, more of Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Peter Edmiston from The Experience with C.J. Hurt that you hear every morning. And what an experience it is every morning, 7A to 10A right here on these airwaves. And he also writes for The Athletic. You can follow him on Twitter at Peter Edmiston. And last week, he tells us about Abraham Ancer. And Abraham Ancer almost won and CJ, that's been CJ's discovery to the golf world this year. He discovered him for us and for the golfing public here. And it makes me always want to keep up with what Abraham Ancer is doing. And this week, Dave picked him, so we're all keeping up with him. C.J. Hurt really brought Abraham Ancer to the golfing sports consciousness of this marketplace of Memphis, Tennessee. Joining us now to talk the Grizzlies and the NBA and Abraham Ancer, Peter Edmiston. Good afternoon, Peter.
I mean, it's just an unbelievable story. The guy's he's still there. He's hanging around.
He is. He is. That's a whole lot to life, isn't it? Just hang around, show up.
Just get there, get into the top 70, and then stick around the top 30. And you never know. Next week's going to be wild when they do that staggered scoring thing
that nobody knows how to keep up with.
I don't know. Well, I mean, eventually, I guess it's the start that's going to be weird. But then once you get the tournament going, I guess it's supposed to be whoever wins is the champ, which is going to be easier, but. It'll be weird seeing Brooks Koepka start with like a 15-stroke lead over whoever else is number 30.
And a big old check accompanying on Sunday, $15 million this year. This week we got in full on Monday the Grizzlies 2019-2020 season, and it will begin on a Wednesday night in Miami against Jimmy Butler and the Miami Heat. The home opener will be on Friday night, October 25th. A little bit later start this year. With the later start, obviously going to be a little bit later finish. The last game of the year will be Wednesday, April 15th, Tax Day at Houston. Last home game of the year will be Monday, April 13th against Philadelphia. As I said on Monday, there's no Georgetown College. There's not even Georgetown University. There's no New Jersey Tech on this. It's all NBA teams, and it's always tough. What parts of the schedule do you think are good, and what parts could be a detriment to the Grizzlies?
Well, I mean, like every other scheduling situation in professional sports, you've got a league, you've got teams, you've got a formula, you plug them in, you put them out there, they play 82, you get 41 at home and 41 on the road. And so there's not to me, a lot of intrigue. I've never really understood the fuss other than just for season ticket holders to figure out, if you're divvying up your tickets, where you're going to go, what the times are. For those of us to cover it. It's nice to kind of put some dates out there to be able to start doing holiday schedules, which we've been doing this week and in my household to figure out, what you're doing around Thanksgiving and Christmas and all that. But, I think the schedule, it should be an easy enough start, quite honestly. But, when the Grizzlies are projected by ESPN's RPM measurements to be the worst team in the West by 4 or 5 games, there's really no easy schedule. Everyone's better than you, according to some circles. So it'll be a little bit easier with the home start, 12 of 18 at home. And in the first 2 or 3 weeks, no one on the sheet that would, scare you in terms of a tough opponent. But then it does get brutal. And that stretch around Thanksgiving and around my birthday, which, by the way, if everyone wants to make plans, the Grizzlies welcome Golden State on my birthday. So
nice.
Feel free to send cards and gifts and all that down to the FedEx Forum around that time.
11-19-19.
That's right. So that little stretch, we have Mike Conley returning. You've got Denver, Golden State, the Clippers, Utah again. You have a trip to Indiana in there. You got that stretch is going to be brutal. And then some of the road heavy stuff later in the year gets pretty tough because you certainly pay it back after getting 12 of 18 at home. You're going to have to go the other way in January.
They will have to do that. With the Grizzlies opener at home against Chicago on a Friday night, a lot of Friday, Saturday, some Sunday early, even a preseason game on a Sunday afternoon. The Sunday afternoon matinee 5:00 games going against the NFL. That for some that can be a challenge.
Well, I mean, again, it's over the course of the schedule, I think they try to work in a few of those if you can. You don't always want to. You certainly don't want to go up against the NFL too much if you can help it. But it's nice to be able to give that kind of a mid-afternoon or early evening game to allow somebody like me that's got little kids. It's nice to be able to send them down and go to the game and be able to come back and not just destroy your bedtime.
Right.
You go to a regular
School
game,
night.
you're just killing bedtime, and it makes it tough. Yeah, I understand you got TV windows and all that to deal with, but those are nice to have. So I do like mixing a few of those in, and then of course it's always tough for the Grizzlies being basically the easternmost team in the Western Conference, the Grizzlies in New Orleans, to have those West Coast games that start at 9 or 9:30, which the NBA is working on their national TV games to try to push that back.
Yes.
Hopefully eventually they'll push all of it back. It's always tough for those markets. They want to start at 7 o'clock local time or 7:30, but it is tough for the central teams going out west for those kinds of games.
Now, Peter, as I understand it, the home team really largely decides what time tip should be. The Grizzlies listed as 7 o'clock. We know it's really 7:10 with everything that goes on pregame. I know if you see 7 o'clock, the ball is not going to be thrown in the air until about 10 after for home games. Do you think the Grizzlies have ever thought of maybe moving a little bit earlier, a little bit later? Because Dallas, they like to tip at 7 or listed as 7:30. Do you think 7's the right time?
Well, I think it's the right time for them. I've never heard anybody discuss seriously moving that in any direction one way or the other. I think they are pleased enough. And Memphis is not a town where, it's impossible to get down there. If you try to start at 6, it might be pretty tough for a lot of folks who work, except for the folks that are downtown. But even then, you got to probably maybe change clothes. It would be tricky to start at 6. But for other, markets like, when you're talking about LA or, even the Houston, some markets that have notoriously bad traffic, Atlanta, it can be tough. And when they start 7 o'clock local, which a lot of those Eastern Conference teams do, there's a reason why the attendance is a little bit light for the first quarter, right? A lot of times you just can't get to the game. So would it kill the Grizzlies to start at 6:30 as opposed to 7? Not really. I mean, that wouldn't be that big of a deal. And you might have a little ease of time for some of the parents and stuff out there. But at the end of the day, I don't think that makes too much difference. I don't think anybody is not coming to a Grizzly game because of traffic or work conditions.
But you mentioned about the NBA and their TV windows. They are moving up a little. Last year, I want to say the NFL moved up Sunday night football and Monday night football a little bit. We see what Fox will do this year with their game day and their kind of college game of the week. I think earlier is kind of becoming the thing.
Well, I mean, if you look at the TV ratings, in most cases, everyone is kind of either flat or declining a little bit. Across most sports. There are a few exceptions, but we've probably hit about the peak of peak TV.
Yeah.
And everything is going to be a little more disparate. Everything's going to be a little stratified. You're going to have different options, different streamings. It's all going to be, there's going to be a lot of money. There always is, but it's going to be divvied up a little bit differently. So I think that they're exploring different ways. And the NBA would like to see what it looks like, when you move those windows up by an hour or half an hour, on national TV. Do you retain more of the East Coast audience? I mean, it's tough to stay up for some of those games. And even if they're really appealing, if you're talking about, Clippers, Lakers, something that's really, really interesting, if somebody in New York City or Boston or Philly, huge media market's going to stay up till, 10:45 for the tip-off and stay up till 1 a.m. for the end of the game, and then till 2 a.m. for, the end of Inside the NBA.
Yeah.
That's
good
a
luck.
lot. Good luck on a weeknight, no less. So, I think moving it up a little bit is probably not a bad idea, and it certainly couldn't hurt the ratings.
And since the SEC's gone to that 18 men's basketball schedule, 18 games schedule, and the end of divisions, you've seen even that 5:30 Central Time. It's usually on the East Coast. It's like at South Carolina, maybe Florida, maybe in Knoxville. But you've seen the 5:30 Central Time for some weeknight college basketball games. I think there is a market out there to maybe even have for the NBA that 5 o'clock tip time. Now, with their TV partner, do you want to get into Sports Center and all that? But I think there's something there for that happy hour earlier rather than later game start.
Well, it's tough, because you have to kind of you got to find that middle ground, because you can't start too early, or else people who are at work, can't get ready for the game, can't see it, can't get their house in time, all that sort of thing. But if you started too late, again, people are gonna be going to sleep by the time you have that double header. I think you just have to. This will be an interesting kind of experiment, and if there's a material change in the ratings, if you see a pretty decent boost or just something that's notable, then I think the NBA obviously will lock that in, and other leagues will start to take notice as well. They will get creative with some of the scheduling, because above all, that TV money is the grease that lubricates the entire system, and so they need that more than anything else.
And you saw it with the social media reaction last year. Not that social media is the driving influence of everything, but this last year, and it's always been the case, it's not like it was new, it was real outrage at the men's basketball finals not starting until the ball not going in the air, tip not starting until about 8:20 Central Time. It's always been that late. Peter, most of my childhood, Monday Night Football came on the air on the Memphis ABC affiliate, me watching it at 8 o'clock with kick about 8:08.
Yeah, that's always been the norm for me too. And I mean, it's the national championship game in football, same thing. I mean, you're talking the kickoffs at 7:30, 7:45, and those games can last a long time. You can be done with that, 11:30 ish. That's not crazy. We've seen that before. So to me, that was part of the game. And my parents were pretty cool about letting me stay up and watch it, but not all parents are like that.
No, it was tied to a lot of things: bedroom clean, homework done, behavior. I mean, Monday Night Football was tied to a lot of things, wasn't it?
Oh, it's a good motivation. For those of us that loved it, it was great motivation. But it's different now, and I don't know. I can't say that you have the same dominance of the traditional media stuff that you did. It matters. It definitely matters if your games are on the regular network outlets. That's definitely a big deal, being on ABC or being on CBS or whatever. But it's not quite what it used to be. Monday Night Football on ESPN isn't the same thing as Monday Night Football on ABC.
Sure isn't.
It's a totally different thing. Sunday night NBC has really stolen a great deal of the thunder and the import of that type of broadcast. And now, I mean, I'm not. ESPN's paying $1 billion for these games, and I don't know exactly what they're getting, but it's not what initially was sold as Monday Night Football.
Peter, right now we're seeing a protracted holdout by Ezekiel Elliott. I know the deadline will probably cause everybody to move a little faster as it approaches. You see a holdout occasionally in baseball, not for long. The NBA, they don't. I mean, right now, when you sign the contract, you report.
Well, and again, I mean, the NFL is the one league right now where holdouts still matter because of the nature of the contract and the nature of what actually is being signed. You know, if you look right now I was looking the other day at quarterback contracts around the league, and of those contracts, there are only one or two that are fully 100% guaranteed. Kirk Cousins has a fully guaranteed $84 million contract that he signed with the Vikings. But the contract that Carson Wentz signed, you know, signing bonus, all that stuff, it ends up being about 85% guaranteed. Other guys, you know, closer to 75% guaranteed. And further on down the line, well, you know, when you have that sort of thing happening and you have those bonuses tied to roster and, you know, placement on the team and squad and all that sort of thing, then you can have some situations where teams can cut guys and you can move guys around, or you can ask for contracts to be restructured, or, you know, all that sort of thing. And you open up this kind of deal. I mean, if you're Ezekiel, you know, both sides, I think have a point here. Ezekiel Elliott, I absolutely understand and would totally agree with him that he should play a sport like football that is potentially deadly, that is physically demanding. You should play that for as much money as you could possibly get
every time
for 100% of the time. So I get that. But if you're the Cowboys, I also understand that you don't want to pay the running back position, which has been proven to be, you know, somewhat of a fungible position. You can find replacement talent and do okay. You don't want to pay that guy that much. Well, I get that too. So there is an inevitable situation here, and this is where you get holdouts at these positions. I think particularly running back, because the amount of money that those guys are making has not tracked with the perception of the position, has not tracked with the star power of the position. I think that just inevitably leads to these kinds of conflicts. I don't see it going anywhere unless in this new CBA they say, let's just go ahead and fully guarantee it. And I can't see those owners being real thrilled about that.
What date do you think they have circled for Grizzlies training camp to start?
Oh, that's a good question. I have to go back and look at the first report date. I think is the 30th of September, if I'm not mistaken, for teams that are not involved in. They have some global games in like India and stuff. So there's some teams that can report early.
That's a Sunday.
Yeah, but I think that's the first time that you can see them actually report, show up. Usually the next day is media day, and then they kick it off that Tuesday. That's usually kind of how it works. So
yeah.
Usually report on a Sunday, do all the administrative stuff and media stuff on that Monday, and then get going on that Tuesday. So my prediction will be something like October 2nd, somewhere in that neighborhood. And you know, it makes sense because you got your first game, you know, that Sunday. So it's a fairly light affair. You know, two games that are against international teams, and that one on Sunday against the Maccabi Haifa is like, I mean, they're particularly. They're not what the Tigers faced yesterday. A bunch of guys that were working at the hotel an hour before the game, but they're not a real squad, a super duper stars. So that would make some sense.
Yeah, it would. Peter Edmondson, our guest from The Experience with CJ Hurt every morning on Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7 from 7 to 10 a.m. every morning, Monday through Friday, and also with The Athletic on Twitter at Peter Edmondson. Peter, I can't remember where I read it. Maybe it was at ESPN.com, but I found it remarkable, the story on Greg Popovich and him spending his summer with all he's accomplished, finally being the head coach of USA Basketball, and that he had never even met Mike Krzyzewski until just a few years ago with their work with U.S. Basketball, and that Greg Popovich is still so very motivated to do this now and to do it for his country now, Air Force graduate, but also still running hot from being one of the last cuts on the 72 Olympic team. Did you read that story?
Yeah, it was. Popovich and Krzyzewski are interesting, and you know they're really two sides of the same coin.
Yeah.
And they are in so many ways similar because you know Krzyzewski's connection starting at Army under Bob Knight, and he's got that ingrained military background from that sense. Popovich, an Air Force guy, but and a patriotic guy, but certainly, Krzyzewski's more a right wing type guy. Pop is more of a left wing type guy. They have a little bit of a different approach when it comes to basketball, but both, remarkably successful at building a program at their level. It's funny. I'm not surprised, honestly, they hadn't crossed paths, given the fact they don't strike me as guys that see eye to eye on a lot of issues outside of basketball. But because of the basketball that they play.
But isn't that the fabric of the country to come from two opposite ends?
Well, I think you're seeing it. I mean, I don't think they avoided each other. I don't think they were like, I don't want to talk to that guy. I think it just never, they probably ran in different circles completely. But you see them coming together, and they've done, it's been a remarkable pairing, as you would expect. I mean, both those guys are so, legendary that really it would be shocking if they weren't great. But, this is a new challenge for Pop now, and this group, I'm sure you saw the other day, getting waxed in the scrimmage
by the select
by Chris Chiozza and the select team.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Chiozza was on that team.
Grit and grind.
Yonte Matten from Georgia was on that team. You had Scotty Hobson on that team. A lot of local / SEC. Ben Moore from SMU was on that team. These are not legends of the game. These are not superstars or even stars. They are very much who's that guy as opposed to a who's who. But they just destroyed the team, and a pretty good team. So it's a scrimmage. It's still a scrimmage, and there's plenty of time. But they play Spain tonight, and a loss in that game and a bad loss. I don't know if we meddle in this thing now. This is looking a little rough.
I'm with you. That was the kind of the getaway question. Can they still win? And you answered even before I asked it. Peter, have a great weekend. I know you'll keep a close eye on all that in that game tonight. And I like the Greg Popovich story that after he was cut from that 72 team, the team that lost the heartbreaker, the robbery to the Soviet Union, and that I think he went to South America with some buddies, and he said he stayed drunk for about 8 weeks before reporting back to the Air Force Academy.
That sounds about right. I mean, he's very simpatico, and he's a wine guy now, and now he's turned full on enophile. Fantastic.
Yeah. Peter, thank you so much. Enjoy your weekend.
You too. Thanks.
You got it. Peter Evans talking NBA and the Grizzlies with us each and every Friday. And that story, it was at ESPN.com. I would encourage people to go read it. Greg Popovich has accomplished so much, and now doing this with a team that might break that long streak of international success that really started after losing to Argentina for the gold medal in 2004. They said, let's get this right. And they got the biggest, best minds in the sport, with Mike Krzyzewski leading it, and Greg Popovich, Jim Boeheim, and a lot of people very involved. And now Mike Krzyzewski has handed it over to Greg Popovich. And Peter was right. Mike Krzyzewski played college basketball at Army for Bobby Knight. Bobby Knight was only about 4 or 5 years older than him at that time. Bobby Knight was a first-year head coach at 24. I think Krzyzewski was his junior point guard at 20. Can you imagine having a guy just 4 years older than you in your face? After you've done all that all day at West Point, you get to basketball practice at 4 o'clock and you get that maniac in your face?
No, I couldn't imagine that, especially somebody that close in age to you. Like, who are you? Why am I supposed to listen to you? Just because you got a nice little shiny whistle on?
And he did. And I say maniac mostly lovingly about Bobby Knight, mostly. There have been some notable missteps through the years, some that aren't very fun either. But Greg Popovich, coming through at that time at another one of the 3 military academies, really 4 with the Coast Guard, but at Air Force, and he was crushed over not making that 72 Olympic team that lost the gold medal game to the Soviet Union in just one of the robberies of all time. As one of the players, Doug Collins was on that team, as one of the players said, they were going to keep replaying those last few seconds until the Soviet Union finally made a shot, and they did. And a lot of those players really never even acknowledged the silver medal, wouldn't accept. And I don't know if
I wouldn't either.
I think they did go to the medal ceremony. I think they did stand on the stage, on the Olympic stand, but really never accepted. It didn't really want to keep that silver medal.
I wouldn't have wanted to keep. Would you have wanted to keep it knowing that regardless of what you did in those final seconds,
you were
going to get robbed? It was, without a doubt, that the coup was on. It was on.
I probably wouldn't
Would you
want
have
it then.
accepted it?
I probably wouldn't have wanted it then, but now just the keepsake that would it be. I mean, one of the all-time robberies from sport and from a very historic Olympics, that summer in Munich with what happened with the Israeli athletes and just in some of the Mark Spitz Olympics. That's when he had the swimming fame. I think you'd probably care more about it at 60 than you did at 20.
Yeah, definitely. That's something that kind of creates value over time. At the time, it has zero value, but the more you think about it, the more history passes on, the more time goes by, the more things that you kind of feel fondly of it and realizing the significance of it that you just don't during the time.
I want to say somebody that has, now with the dream team type teams, the all-star assemblage of NBA players, I want to say somebody that's won multiple. Maybe it was Michael Jordan. Somebody gave their gold medal or tried to give their gold medal to Doug Collins, and he said, "Nah, I can't accept that either." I appreciate the kind thought, but it doesn't make any better. And it's yours. You want it. The coaches don't get one on any level. I mean, Mark Spitz, swimming coach, didn't get a medal every time he won. And I know one of the players.
Well, that makes sense for the individual sports, but basketball, come on, give the coach a medal.
And a few years ago, somebody gave theirs to Krzyzewski, and he accepted. I think it was after his last tour of duty. If you suffer a knee injury, seriously sprain your shoulder, or perhaps you break your finger, and it's 5:30 in the afternoon, where do you go? You go to Campbell Clinic After Hours. Campbell Clinic After Hours, they help treat breaks, sprains, and strains on your schedule. When you or your children are injured in the evening or on the weekend, skip the hospital and go straight to Campbell Clinic. Campbell Clinic offers the top team of local orthopedic doctors, and they spare the long wait at the ER, no appointment needed. Campbell Clinic, they treat you best. Sports injuries, work injuries, broken bones, sprained ankles. They treat all kinds of orthopedic injuries, and they quite literally wrote the book on orthopedic medicine right here in our backyard for a long, long time. It's Campbell Clinic. Campbell Clinic After Hours, available weeknights at Germantown and South Haven locations, Monday through Thursday, 4 to 8. Also available on Saturdays, 8 o'clock to 11 at the Germantown location. Find out more at campbellclinic.com. They are the official medical provider for just about every team around, including a lot of the high schools that will start high school football next Friday night after Jamborees tonight. Coming up next, we talk with John Varlas from the Daily Memphian, the Preps reporter extraordinaire. It was fun to visit with John out at the golf tournament when he was writing on golf. I knew he was ready to get to high school football a few weeks later. Well, it's a few weeks later, and he'll get to it with us. You're listening to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats on Real Sports Talk. Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7.
Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy get you through the midday with Sports 56 Middays. Delivered by FedEx. Weekdays from 10 till 1 on Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7.
Family Leisure is celebrating the end of summer with the appropriately titled End of Summer Liquidation Sale. You can get pools for as low as $19.99, patio furniture starting at $12.99, and swim spas, they begin at $99.99. Don't forget to ask about fast installation because there's still enough summer left to enjoy these deals during the End of Summer Liquidation Sale happening now at Family Leisure. Family Leisure, Whitten Road and I-40, where family and fun come together.
There's a new commissary in town in Collierville. Germantown Commissary is doubling. Yeah, they're still going to have the old Germantown Commissary by the tracks, but now there's a huge new Germantown Commissary in Collierville at Poplar and Houston Levee Road. It's huge, too. There's a drive-through. There's plenty of parking. No telephone pole to get in your way. A cool patio. It's right by the track, so the tradition continues. And this is a tradition that's been around forever. That commissary is famous for hickory-smoked, slow-cooked Memphis-style barbecue. They've got a private party room at the new one in Collierville. Self-catering still continues. Party packs for $5.95. Basically, the great ribs, the great pulled shoulder, the great deviled eggs. Everything is there in Collierville and Germantown now. So there is now a Germantown and Collierville style of barbecue. It's called Germantown Commissary.
Hey, everybody. Want to save some money on a brand new Chevy and get a full belly and for a good cause? Well, come out to All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch Thursday, August 22nd from 11 to 1 to honor all first responders. They're going to have a big fish fry and a whole lot more with food, beverages, door prizes, and an ice cream truck. So if you're a first responder or appreciate our first responders, come out to All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch on the 22nd and have lunch on us. And while you're out there, test drive as many new Chevys as you want, like the new 2020 Silverado. It's here, and the 2020 Chevy Blazer. And also ask about the 2020 Corvette. And not just that, the All-Star Chevy Challenge is just one more reason to head to Olive Branch for that all-new Chevy. Just take them any real written offer from any Mid-South Chevy dealer, and they'll beat it. So find new roads to Olive Branch, and don't miss lunch on us at All-Star Chevy on August 22nd. Remember, it's Olive Branch, not South Haven, people. All-Star Chevrolet on Goodman Road, or go to allstarautogroup.com.
Hi, this is Troy Five-Ash, owner of Five-Ash Roofing. As most of you know, I don't have a history of bragging or boasting that Five-Ash Roofing is the best roofer in the Memphis area, but did you know we are the only diamond-level roofing professional in the area? We are one of very few local roofing companies that have been in business for 20 years. We've never had a justified claim against us. We are locally owned and family operated. Our labor warranties are for the life of the shingles. We're experts in insurance claim. We do residential and commercial work. We are the official roofer of the University of Memphis Athletic Department and a proud member of the Tigers home team. We support local youth sports and St. Jude's. We have worked with churches and veteran services to help those in need by providing services at a deep discount or even for free. We are currently working with Young Life to give them a free roof on the historic log cabin in Germantown. Five-Ash Roofing. Fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Campbell Clinic now offers daytime walk-in care, and you don't need an appointment. If you've got any kind of urgent break, sprain, strain, you can walk into any of their 5 convenient locations Monday through Friday from 8 until 4. There's no long wait you have to put up with the ER, and those doctors are really good, but they're not orthopedists. They're not world-renowned orthopedists who have come up with different procedures and written the manuals for them that are used everywhere in the world, and I'm not kidding you. And you can now see those doctors who treat the Tigers, the Grizzlies, the Redbirds. You can see them today without an appointment. And I'm talking Collierville, Germantown, South Haven, downtown at the Med Center, or even the Campbell Clinic Spine Center in Cordova. Now, if you've got something pressing, you got to go to work, and you can bear the pain until the evening, there's Campbell Clinic After Hours. That's Monday through Thursday from 5 to 8 in Germantown, South Haven, even Saturday morning in Germantown. If you're injured, don't wait. Visit Campbell Clinic Walk-In Care or Campbell Clinic After Hours.
Got something you want to get off your chest?
You better have a backup plan.
Want to join the conversation?
Someone needs to tell him he has to grow up.
Join us on the First Bank phone lines at 360-8255 or the First Bank text line at 67129. Now, more of Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Dave's out today. He'll be back on Tuesday. He'll be out Monday as well. I'm going to take a little time latter part of next week. But we'll all be here together. Game week, and game week rapidly approaching. Game week for high school football. Well, it's jamborees going on tonight around town, but the schedule starts in earnest with the opening games for a lot of teams next Thursday and Friday, and some games even on Saturday. To talk high school football with us and prep sports with us, I think the hardest working member of the sports media in Memphis. There's a lot of hardworking people, but I think he is at the top of it. I say that to his face, and I say that now over the airwaves to him, and it's John Varlas from the Daily Memphian, long time at the Commercial Appeal, now part of the great team at the Daily Memphian. On Twitter at John Varlas, reporter at the Daily Memphian, and we're glad to have you with us, John Varlas. I wish you would do it. In 2020, keep a calendar of every single sports event you go to in a year, John.
That's a good idea, Stats. I should probably do that because we're the season officially starts on Monday. There's the FCA golf tournament that I'm thinking about swinging by, and yeah, I mean that might be a fun thing to do. How many do you think I would be up to by the time May comes around?
I'm gonna say easy, low side over a course of a year. If you started in January, I would say easy. 4 events a year by 50 weeks, 200 events, easy.
Yeah, I would say that's I would say that's probably right. It's kind of mind-boggling when you sit down there and put a number to it like that. But yeah, it's crazy. Sometimes I don't know how I do it. How you doing, buddy? Thanks for having me.
I'm doing great, and you know my regard for you, and I love you, and I love your Twitter. I think most people's Twitter accounts, if you know them, and if you know, like if I'm following Adrian Wojnarowski, I don't know him, so yeah. I don't know his personality. But when you know somebody, you can really see their personality almost with every letter they tweet out. And last night, I chuckled when I saw this tweet from you, and don't tell me I can't find it now. When you tweeted out, you were on your way to Crump Stadium, and you tweeted out, I can't get to it fast enough that you can't realize how hard it is to get from East Memphis to Crump Stadium when you're in a hurry. And I knew what you were meaning. You had something to cover. Hurry up, car, get me there.
No, you're right, Stas. What it was, it's actually worse than East Memphis. I was actually out at Fayette Academy. They've got a really terrific football player. Their quarterback, Rube Scott Ray, is a really terrific football player. He was a Mr. Football finalist last year, and I think he's got a great chance to win this year, primarily because the other two finalists have graduated. But he's a terrific talent in his own right. So I was out there at Fayette Academy doing an interview with him, and we had a really great talk. Got to talking, got to shooting the breeze kind of a little bit after it was over with. And then I realized, I got to get all the way to Crump Stadium from Fayette Academy for the Jamboree, and they're like, there's just no quick way to get there. So I made it, thankfully. But yeah, there's just no quick way to get there, and that's the glamorous life of a prep reporter sometimes.
And John, I know you do. You seem like I know you do, but you can tell you love it.
I do. It's fun. In a sense. And you can maybe relate to this on some level, Stats. In a sense, it kind of keeps me young. I don't. Yeah,
I gotta have it.
My wife and I, we were fortunate to meet, but we met late in life, and we don't have any children. And I don't want to say that I look at these athletes as my children, but just being around kids and being around achievers. So many of these athletes are super high achievers. Just being around them, hearing their stories, kind of getting to learn what they go through a little bit on a daily basis, their ups, their downs, talking about injuries, talking about, disappointments of not winning awards, like talking with Rube Scott yesterday. It's, it just kind of gives you a sense of what it might be like if you had a kid and he or she was a high achiever and like so many of these young people are. It does. It keeps me young, and it keeps me kind of plugged into what's important to young people, which is always good when you get to be my age.
And I got the tweet now. Exactly. This is what it was. Let me tell you, there's no fast way to get from Fayette Academy to Crump Stadium. The grind never stops, though. And that's you going to the whip with a car, faster car. I got a game to cover. It's the great. Who was the announcer? Was it Marv Albert? The title of his book was. I'm sorry, but I got a game to go to. It feels like we constantly have a game to go to, and I wouldn't want it any other way. You are at a ballpark, a diamond, a track, a golf course constantly, but this time of year with high school football starting, it's very, very important. I don't want to put you on the spot because we know how celebrated and legitimately how great the Memphis high school basketball scene that it is, and historically, traditionally, that it's been. Where do you think it is? Is it close to basketball, closer than most would think? Is it ahead? Is it a best-kept secret? Where do you think the high school football scene in our area, Shelby County, and a little bit extended, Fayette, West Memphis, and even DeSoto County in the Northwest Mississippi?
Well, that's a great question, Stats, and I have a lot of discussion about this, off the record stuff with high school football coaches, and we talk about this a lot. I really think, and it was, maybe within the last, let's say the last decade, or maybe the last 6 or 8 years in particular, that on an individual talent level, Memphis high school football, can compete anywhere in the country on an individual talent level. Yeah. When you look at some of the schools that have come in here recently, recruiting the Memphis kids. Notre Dame, Georgia, Michigan, the big Alabama, even, Auburn. You look at somebody like Omari Thomas, who has offers from everybody in the SEC. You look at somebody like Bill Norton at Christian Brothers last year, who had, a host of offers, and Eric Gray from Lausanne. And, you look at somebody like Dante Vaughn, who is likely to be, starting at Notre Dame this year in the secondary. I mean, I think on an individual basis, our talent, is just as good as the basketball talent. I think where it's still, has just a touch more work to do to be able to compete consistently is on the team level, because, when you get to the state tournament in basketball, I think it's fair to say every year in Memphis you would have a state tournament contender or maybe several in every classification, AAA, the private schools, the small public schools. You'll have lots of title contenders. I think that's where, once Memphis high school football can get to the level where we have a state contender in most of the classifications, then I think it will definitely be there. And I think they're getting there. There's some good 5A programs in the city this year. There's some good 3A programs in the city this year, particularly Fairleigh. There's some good, smaller public school programs that I think have a chance to make some noise. And the private schools, Fayette Academy, like I mentioned, I think they've got a great shot this year, along with, Lausanne and, some of the bigger private schools. So I think once we get to that level stats, then I think it'll be, the football coaches will say, hey, we've gotten there.
And I think one thing that would really maybe take us more nationally known, and you've mentioned there have been there are players out there in the 2019 season that are famous players on big teams, named teams from Shelby County and the surrounding area. But there's been a long time. Who was the last great quarterback? If we had that quintessential 5-star that Penn State, Ohio State, Oklahoma, all the SECs, that truly everybody's after, we just haven't had that at quarterback in a long time. Why haven't we? And can you remember the last most ballyhooed kind of national type quarterback from this area?
No, I really don't. I mean, you may have to go back to Barry Brunetti, but I mean, he was not, Stats, as you'll remember, he was not the prototypical, big strong armed quarterback. And I think, going forward, that's a problem that not just Memphis, but a lot of states have, because with offenses, kind of trending the way they are now in RPOs and, having a quarterback that can, take off and run and put his head down and gain a few yards as well as throw it. I mean, I think that kind of has changed the dynamic of the quarterback position a little bit, and especially on the high school level, a lot of times you might, be forced to put your best athlete at quarterback. Well, maybe he's not, a prototypical quarterback. He hasn't gone to the Manning passing camp. He hasn't done, all these quarterback things like, some of these kids in California and Texas and Florida might do throughout the off season. So that's always going to factor into it as well. I think we're always going to have good quarterbacks here, but yeah, like the traditional 6'4", 6'5", kid with a cannon arm. I mean, those are hard to find everywhere.
They're hard to find, and it's why you said prototypical, and I'm going to use a dangerous word here because you can always get in trouble doing this, but I did it, and I ended up sadly being right about it, and it was being stereotypical. When I first heard in 2004, 5, whenever it was, 2004, 5 football seasons, that Arkansas had the #1 high school quarterback in the country. Oh, you got to see this guy at Springdale. Mitch Mustaine, 5-star, can play for anybody. And I said, I just simply don't believe it. I got to see it to believe it. I got to see the career turn out to believe it. If you're telling me #1 tailback in the country, #1 linebacker in the country, #1 defensive end in the country from the state of Arkansas, I might sign up for it. Quarterback, no way. And I was right.
Yeah, and you just, it's just so hard. Quarterbacks are just such complicated creatures, and there's just so many things that can go on and affect the development of quarterbacks that, make them a really iffy proposition stats. But having said that, we are starting to even produce quarterbacks. Kirby's quarterback, Jaden Johnson, was recruited by several big schools, and he's at Southern Miss now. And then, Tevin Carter from Freedom Prep, who, he was unsuccessful in trying to transfer to Central, and he's at West Memphis now. He's being recruited. He's got numerous Power 5 offers, and he's going into his 10th grade year. So, I mean, I think we're getting better, but yeah, like you say, there's a stigma attached to players from Tennessee in a lot of areas. I always like to think back to Dylan Mitchell. I mean, if Dylan Mitchell lived in Florida or Tennessee or California instead of Tennessee when he was in high school, he would have been a top 10 national recruit. But as it was, he was way down on the list and overlooked to a certain degree. And now he's in training camp with the Minnesota Vikings. So that tells you all.
John, I'm good. I'm good one Friday night a year to kill your DMs, being your roving reporter at high school football. Next Friday night, I'm going to go to the Kirby Hillcrest game. Where will you be? And do you try to bounce around, or you try to get to one game and lock in on it?
Yeah, I do try to bounce around, and honestly, Stats, I don't know where I'm going to be next week.
Wherever it takes you.
I haven't had a chance to sit down and look at the schedule, but yeah, I appreciate you blowing up my DMs, and that Kirby game against Hillcrest is going to be fun. Kirby's got a high-powered offense. They're coming off the best year in school history last year, 11-2. And check this out, Stats. The 2 games they lost last year, they lost to the Mississippi state runner-up and the Tennessee state runner-up in Class 5A.
That's a competitive schedule.
Really good team.
Kirby has a defensive end already committed to Arkansas State. Corbett Mims. There are a lot of great players at Whitehaven. They have at least 3 or 4 that can play about anywhere. I know Martavius French is a pretty solid commitment to Arkansas at linebacker. They have another linebacker that has narrowed it down to, I think, to Arkansas and Tennessee in Bryson. He's some really good players. Tamarian McDonald, defensive back at Whitehaven, already committed to Mississippi State. You just go see Whitehaven, you're going to see a lot of tomorrow's stars today.
Well, you really will, Stats. I mean, those linebackers that you mentioned, Eason, French, and McDonald, I can't wrap my head around there being a better group of linebackers anywhere in the country. I mean, you've got, McDonald's committed to Mississippi State, so you've got 3 SEC-level linebackers on one high school team, and I mean, that's just going to be an incredible team this coming year. If they can get their quarterback situations situated, and I think they will, because Keyshawn Harris is really talented. I mean, the sky's the limit for Whitehaven. They're going to be a fun team to watch this year, and I hope you can get out and see them some. I know I will.
John, you know why I can't go regularly. I do still love going to high school football and high school basketball, and I think for people, especially in these times when you go to some of the bigger ballparks, to the bigger games, and you're repulsed by the $7 soft drink and the $4 water, it's one of the best values ever is to go out to a high school football game on a Friday night.
Well, what I like to say, Stats, is it's cheaper than a movie, and there's a great chance it's going to be more entertaining than your average movie. Because you go to these games. Part of the fun is not necessarily what's going on the field. It's what's going on. It's the crowd experience.
The band.
Especially at Whitehaven, with the tremendous band they have, they always put on a show. But yeah, I mean, it's the people. You're bound to see somebody talk about old times. It's just a great night out. Especially you go to some of these smaller schools. Again, going back to the Fayette Academies, you get the small town feel. Some of these smaller privates and some of these smaller public schools, you kind of get a small town feel and a community sense that you don't get at a lot of sporting events, and it's just fun. And these kids work so hard, and they get they're so excited and so appreciative of what attention they get. It's really fun. It's really a great Friday night out.
The sights and sounds of high school football, I love it, and I look forward to being out next week. And I know you do on Thursday with games, Friday, and with the triple header next Saturday afternoon down at Whitehaven. John Varlas, we got to do it a lot. We said at the golf tournament we would, and I mean it. We got to keep up a lot, and I'll be keeping up with you and the Daily Memphian. Thank you so much for your time today, John. Really respect what you do.
I thank you too, Stats. I'm here whenever you need me, buddy. You know that. I appreciate you.
You got it. Thank you very much. John Varlas talking the prep scene with us, and he is quite literally at a ballpark, diamond, gym, track, golf course, tennis court. What else you have? Badminton, whatever they have. John is out at it. 360-8255, 67129, That's the First Bank phone line and the First Bank text line. And I've got a Germantown Collierville Commissary 6-pack that I'm going to give away to the first person that can answer this question with 8 days to play before college football. Now, this was his pro number, but it ties into his college number. Archie Manning wore 18 very famously at Ole Miss. It was not available when he got to the Saints, so he settled on number 8. 8 days to go until the start of college football. Somebody tell me who was wearing 18 and why Archie Manning did not get that number with the New Orleans Saints. Somebody had it. A veteran had it, wouldn't sell it. Well, the price was a little high, so he settled on number 8. Tell me the name of that person either by text or by call, 360-8255 or 67129 at the First Bank text line to win a 6-pack of barbecue from the Germantown Commissary or the Collierville Commissary. And a great way to begin a barbecue feast at either place is with some of those great appetizers like the cheese plate or the tamales. They're fantastic. The barbecue nachos as well, the smoked chicken wings. You can get your feast started that way, then dive into the ribs or the barbecue shoulder, get it chopped, get it pulled. You can get it on a sandwich, a big, gigantic sandwich, the jumbo sandwich. You can get it on a plate that comes with beans, slaw, deviled eggs, bread as well. You can even order it by the pound or a 6-pack or an 8-pack or a 12-pack. You also can get the barbecue combo where your choice of ribs, shoulder, links, chicken, and all the great desserts at the Germantown Commissary or the Collierville Commissary. Wonderful hot tamales to get started, dressed with chili, cheese, fresh onions. And again, I mentioned the desserts like the lemon icebox pie. The Germantown Commissary or the Collierville Commissary. For carry-out, give them a call, 754-5540. The private party rooms now at the Collierville Commissary, and also the great area to have your game watching party there. Let the weather cool down just a little bit and get your game day started there at the Collierville Commissary. 360-8255. I guess I should have told you the answer, shouldn't I? I will in the break. We better take that break now, and I'll tell you 67129 at the text line. Who was wearing number 18 with the New Orleans Saints? The reason why Archie Manning had to settle on uniform number 8 that he wore with the Saints, Oilers, and the Vikings in entire pro career. Never went to number 18. It was taken by a veteran defensive back. Who was he? 360-8255 or 67129 to win a 6-pack of barbecue from the Commissary, either Germantown or Collierville. You're listening to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Search Sports 56 on Facebook and give us a like. And follow us on Twitter at Sports 56 WHBQ.
The folks at Homer Skelton Hyundai want to say thank you. Thank you, Memphis, for another spectacular year. They set records, but I can understand why. You think about the product. Where else do you get a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty? That's what you get on every new car at Homer Skelton Hyundai. Oh, and thank you again for the 11th straight year, the #1 certified pre-owned car dealership in all of Memphis. It starts with that product, but then it goes to the shopper assurance. Where else do you go where you get transparent pricing, flexible test drive, take the car for a couple of days if you want, streamlined buying process? You're not going to be there all day, in and out. And then, and I have not seen this anywhere else, the 3-day worry-free exchange. You buy a new car, if you've got any buyer's remorse, you've got 3 days to change your mind. Just get on Lamar, take it into Mississippi, the first exit's Craft Road, turn left, and go see Chris True and all the gang at Homer Skelton Hyundai.
Hi, this is John Conway with Conway Services. School's back in. Are the kids going to be running out of hot water every morning? Or worse, are you going to be out of hot water by the time they leave? It may be time for a tankless water heater from Conway Services that never runs out of hot water. At Conway Services, we're making now the perfect time to replace that old energy-guzzling tanked water heater with a new tankless water heater with 24 months to pay, interest-free. Or I'll give you $250 for that old tanked water heater. These energy-saving models only heat the water you use, saving you money on your gas bill every month. And you know with Conway Services, you'll be receiving our award-winning service every time. And no more worrying about that tank bursting in your attic either. See why I say now's the perfect time? Call Conway Services, the Mid-South's premier tankless water heater professionals at 384-3511. That's 384-3511. And the first 30 callers with a 10-year-old water heater, we'll come out and inspect it absolutely free.
Call 384-3511. Conway Services. Call Conway today.
No No matter what your past credit, no matter how much you owe on your trade, no matter if you tried to buy at another deal and were turned down, Sunrise Buick GMC can get you financed. There's never been a better time to trade. Sunrise has hundreds of new vehicles and over $5 million in used car inventory, specializing in cars and trucks under $10,000. Sunrise has the lowest prices and will not be undersold. Bad credit, bankrupt, slow pay, Sunrise gets you financed when no one else can. Check out the inventory and apply online at sunrisememphis.com. The blowout sale going on now at all Sunrise locations, Covington Pike, Wolf Chase, and Collierville.
A university psychiatrist tested the top salesman of a major national insurance company. He found that those with perfectionist tendencies earned from $12,000 to $15,000 per year less than those who were not perfectionists. The study found that high performers were almost always free of the compulsion toward perfection. Rather than thinking of their mistakes as failures, the top salespersons have managed to learn from their mistakes and build on them. Too many of us are bound by a compulsion to perfection. The tragic thing is that we have been made to believe that our value is in what we do, not in who we are. Parents make that mistake with their children, affirming their performance, not their person. So we end up believing we will not be accepted unless we are perfect. Listen, the compulsion to perfection will destroy us when we don't recognize and control it. I'm Shane Stanford from Christchurch, Memphis. You matter.
Visit ChristchurchMemphis.org.
Driving is freedom. The freedom to keep moving, to control your destiny, and to choose your path. And now, that freedom fits in the palm of your hand. It's called Ford Pass, the only app that gives you roadside assistance, Ford Pass rewards, and now when you buy or lease a new Ford, earn points you can use toward flexible complimentary maintenance that gives you, well, more freedom. Ford Pass, built to keep you moving. Built Ford proud. Visit your participating Ford dealership to find out about getting flexible complimentary maintenance when you buy or lease a new Ford and sign up for rewards.
Roadside assistance is included for certain Ford owners and available to everyone for a per-service fee. Ford reserves the right to change program details without obligations. Visit your participating dealer or FordPassRewards.com for program rules and restrictions. Ford Pass, compatible with select smartphone platforms, is available via a download.
Now, more of Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy.
Short on time, but I threw the question out for the Collierville or Germantown Commissary six-pack. We got the answer on the text line, and I asked Drew to call them and see if they would mind going on the air. And Drew can attest, Jason, that when the name popped up, big smile on my face. Good afternoon. You're going to be the winner, I think. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing great, Brad. Thanks.
Big smile came on my face. This is someone I know well. This is not a rigged contest, though, is it?
It is not.
It is not. You know who the winner, who had number 18. What was his name?
Hugo Hollis.
Hugo Hollis had it. Aging defensive back. He had it. The story goes the equipment manager for the Saints went to him and said, hey, the savior of the franchise is going to get number 18. He said, no, he's not. I'm keeping it. He can buy it from me. And I think he threw a price out at Archie, and Archie said, no way. I'm not going to buy a jersey. Give me number 8. So he was deprived of wearing 18. I was ready to go out and buy my 18 jersey back in the day, Jason.
Absolutely.
You are a winner. You're a lucky man for many reasons. Good golfer and married to a great gal from the FC. Way to go. Luck stays with you, Jason.
All right. Thanks.
You got it. I'm going to put you on hold. Very good. You already got everything good. That is a good guy. And what a surprise! You that was not set up, was it, Drew? I had no idea who that was on the text line.
No, you didn't.
And brought a smile to my face. No, that was in '71 when Hugo Hollis was wearing number 18 as a defensive back, made famous at Ole Miss by Archie Manning. Archie Manning wore 14 in high school, and it was taken at Ole Miss, so he got 18, and then 18 was taken in the pros, and he got 8. So a lot of numbers there to choose from, but 8 days to go to start of college football next Saturday. I am ready. Are you?
I'm biting at the bits.
I am too. I
can't get here fast.
Watch more of the NFL preseason last night, getting ready and really ready for the march of college football. One that we all love and have a lot of fun with. We come back. We start the third and final hour of the week. We do that every Friday with Rick Horrow on the Business of Sports. Rick, long time with NBC visiting professor now at Harvard, and a lot of fun to visit with. We talk with him about a lot of the news in the business of sports, including big rights fees at the new stadium in Los Angeles. That's how we start Hour 3. We do it next with Rick Harrow. You're listening to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Campbell Clinic now offers daytime walk-in care, and you don't need an appointment. If you've got any kind of urgent break, sprain, strain, you can walk into any of their 5 convenient locations Monday through Friday from 8 until 4. There's no long wait you have to put up with the ER, and those doctors are really good, but they're not orthopedists. They're not world-renowned orthopedists who have come up with different procedures and written the manuals for them that are used everywhere in the world, and I'm not kidding you. And you can now see those doctors who treat the Tigers, the Grizzlies, the Redbirds. You can see them today without an appointment. And I'm talking Collierville, Germantown, South Haven, downtown at the Med Center, or even the Campbell Clinic Spine Center in Cordova. Now, if you've got something pressing, you got to go to work and you can bear the pain until the evening, there's Campbell Clinic After Hours. That's Monday through Thursday from 5 to 8 in Germantown, South Haven, even Saturday morning in Germantown. If you're injured, don't wait. Visit Campbell Clinic Walk-In Care or Campbell Clinic After Hours.
Hi, this is Troy 5 owner of 5 Roofing. It's an exciting time to be a Memphis Tiger fan, and we at 5 Roofing have decided to share our excitement. We are proud members of the Tigers home team, which means we sponsor the Tigers athletic department, and we're also season ticket holders to both the football and basketball programs. We will be giving away 2 and sometimes 4 tickets to most of the games this coming year. To have a chance at winning the tickets, find our Facebook page, like, and share our post. The more you share, the more chances you have to win. We also want to give away some tickets to those who wouldn't otherwise get a chance to go. So you can go to memphisroofer.com or 5ash.com and send us a note why you or someone you know should get the tickets. And as always, 5 Roofing is fair, honest, and ethical. We're experts in all forms of roofing for both residential and commercial buildings. 5 Roofing, 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
5 Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Driving is freedom. The freedom to keep moving, to control your destiny, and to choose your path. And now, that freedom fits in the palm of your hand. It's called Ford Pass, the only app that gives you roadside assistance, Ford Pass rewards, and now when you buy or lease a new Ford, earn points you can use toward flexible complimentary maintenance that gives you, well, more freedom. Ford Pass, built to keep you moving, built Ford proud. Visit your participating Ford dealership to find out about getting flexible complimentary maintenance when you buy or lease a new Ford and sign up for rewards.
Roadside assistance is included for certain Ford owners and available to everyone for a per-service fee. Ford reserves the right to change program details without obligations. Visit your participating dealer or FordPassRewards.com for program rules and restrictions. Ford Pass, compatible with select smartphone platforms, is available via a download.
There's a new commissary in town. In Collierville, Germantown Commissary is doubling. Yeah, they're still going to have the old Germantown Commissary by the tracks, but now there's a huge new Germantown Commissary in Collierville at Poplar and Houston Levee Road. It's huge, too. There's a drive-through. There's plenty of parking. No telephone pole to get in your way. A cool patio. It's right by the track, so the tradition continues. And this is a tradition that's been around forever. That commissary is famous for hickory-smoked, slow-cooked Memphis-style barbecue. They've got a private party room at the new one in Collierville. Self-catering still continues. Party packs for $5.95. Basically, the great ribs, the great pulled shoulder, the great deviled eggs. Everything is there in Collierville and Germantown now. So there is now a Germantown and Collierville style of barbecue. It's called Germantown Commissary.
You already know you can listen to Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7 anywhere with the Sports 56 app or at sports56whbq.com. But you can also keep up to date with everything going on by keeping up with Sports 56 on social media. Be sure to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch for information on breaking news, chances to win prizes, and video of all the shows. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Stay in touch with Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7 on social media. We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Welcome back to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Wolosian and Brett Norsworthy.
Final hour of a very busy, very fun weekend. To the weekend strong we go, and next week will be that much closer to the start of college football. A lot of preseason NFL games out there tonight and this weekend, including the New York Jets hosting the Chicago Bears out in the Meadowlands at MetLife Stadium. I don't think there's of all the beautiful architecture in New York, that MetLife building is a beautiful building. We talk the business of sports every Friday at this time during the DeSoto Auto Sales sponsored hour. We do it with Rick Haro, and it's fun to visit with Rick. Rick, are you with me on New York skyline architecture? I bet you like the MetLife building, don't you?
Best stadium money could buy there. It's more expensive than AT&T Stadium. That has to do with labor costs in New York, by the way. But it's on the site of the old Giants Stadium, and this is huge. You push a button and it's Jets green. You push a button and it's Giants blue.
Yeah.
Wish you could push a button and make them play better defense, less turnovers, but that doesn't happen in stadiums too. So, we're ready for that one. Ready for AT&T for hosting Labor Day night game, but we're also basically ready for a new stadium in Vegas, which will be called Allegiant Stadium, and we're ready for the new one in LA, which will be a $5 billion deal. So those are the next two coming out.
They are on the way. Now, I was talking about, I love MetLife Stadium too, but I was talking in Lower Manhattan near Grand Central Station, the MetLife building. I think architecturally that with the Grand Hyatt by Grand Central, it's one of my favorites there in Manhattan.
Boy, yeah. Well, it's very rare you get to talk architecture with a sports talk show host, but you're a Renaissance guy. So clearly, when you look at the skyline of New York, it is a wonderful place to visit. I'm there every couple of weeks, and it's really cool.
I know you are. I bet you probably had enough time in Manhattan. You talk about the new stadium for the Rams and the Chargers. American Airlines, they're going to pay $90 million over 10 years to sponsor the plaza at the Rams and Chargers New Inglewood home.
They could have a couple more plazas. You could enter on one side, could have 2 or 3 or 4. A lot of the stadiums have corner plazas that are named after corporations. I don't know if you can afford $9 million a year times 10, which is the American Airlines deal, times 4, and then still have the benefit of a master naming deal. But if anywhere could do it, it's going to be that $5 billion stadium in LA. So I can't wait to see what the process is going to be.
And that stadium, like Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, they're going to be in on everything. College football playoffs, Super Bowls, Final Fours. Heck, if you could get a World Series game played in those places, they would almost try to bid on it, wouldn't they? NBA All-Star games.
NBA All-Star game, clearly. Allegiant's going to pay $20, $25 million a year. That's a lot of money. And it's not a startup airline, but it's a regional kind of B-market airline, some would say. It's headquartered in Vegas. A lot of people are saying, man, that's really expensive for that deal. But when you think about it, it's going to be front and center Allegiant Stadium basically every week, and the Final Fours and concerts and NBA All-Star, plus UNLV, plus the Raiders, and being in Vegas, it's a good deal. Expensive deal, but a good deal.
And finally, the stigma, the scare of Vegas, we're way over that, and we should be.
Well, we're over that a long time ago. And,
yeah.
and there were years ago when you couldn't even talk about, when the NBA All-Star Game went to Vegas, they were talking about, that kind of crowd. You never want to have it there again. Well, Gary Bettman took a chance. Hockey went to Vegas, an incredible success. There are about 2 million population in Vegas that are family-oriented, that have no recreation. This is that. And when you think about it, the only thing Vegas doesn't have really, when you stack it up, are the corporations to buy the suites. But that's where the casinos come in. So you're going to have a lot of opportunity to spend a lot of money in Vegas.
You're going to have a lot, and I would love to be the person that gets the commission on the suite sales. I think that's going to be an easy sell, don't you?
Yeah, I do. And I also think that the Raiders, despite themselves, may get good. Maybe you string Antonio Brown up and you throw darts at him. I don't know how you deal with the team, but they're spending a lot of money for on the field stuff. So that team's not going to be a bad team. It'll certainly be a marquee team, good or bad.
There's a little of me that I still feel sorry for East Bay, for Oakland. Do you?
Yeah, well, I do, but they had their chance. They see the memo where they could have saved the Warriors. The new arena in downtown San Francisco is going to be beautiful. They had a chance to get the deal done on the site, a new stadium right by where the existing stadium is. It's the oldest stadium in football. It's the oldest stadium in baseball. They better read the memo now, Alameda County and Oakland. If they don't act quick, they're going to lose the A's too.
Yeah, they could lose the A's now. The Giants have been fighting any ballpark for the A's moving in that area, haven't they?
Well, they've been fighting away from Oakland, like San Jose.
Yeah.
When you think of San Jose, that legitimately is a market that's up for grabs. That's really not the East Bay. But if you stay in the East Bay, Fremont, Livermore, Oakland, they're not going to fight that because that's always been allocated as kind of Raiders territory and A's territory. And so it's now up to them as they're kind of running out of alternatives to get this done.
Now, Al Davis, we know what a revolutionary he was on the field. And I remember at his death, Rick, I don't know if it was the same day or in the same, roundabout sequence of 2 or 3 days of Steve Jobs. And I made the case for as much as Steve Jobs was the tech revolutionary, Al Davis was the football revolutionary. How moved was he, though, by the business side? Was it more the player personnel side and just win, baby? And is Mark Davis more the bottom line, let's really make some cash out of this? Or did he get it rightfully from his dad, Al Davis?
Well, I think he got it from his dad, but, the move to Vegas, a lot of people said, terrible decision. Remember, they went back and forth to L.A. a couple times, and he was always the Maverick suing the NFL. Now he's a partner that's going to open up the Vegas market in a way that people didn't ever understand. And so, they got a franchise that's worth over $2.5, $3 billion, and he paid $5,000 for it as an original AFL franchise. So here's a guy and a family who's invested in the team. That's their only revenue source. So they're going to spend heart and soul on making the Raiders great in their own mind.
What's the capital gains tax on that, Rick?
Well, see, that's the thing. That's why they better have a really good succession plan in place, or there's going to be some real difficulty. I remember doing stuff with the Dolphins, and Joe Robbie had the same kind of price, and he had 8 family members, and they were all kind of fighting over the franchise. And a lot of people don't want that to happen. And, you got family that looks out for the future, and then some families that don't. And you got to be very careful about it, especially with an asset like that. The government wants to kind of sit back and take as much tax money as they can on this stuff unless you plan very carefully.
Do you think, surely of all people, and sometimes it surprises me just with friends and families and in relationships that I have on who was really prepared for that day, and some that you thought would be that they're not, and it's always kind of shocking. You just always thought, they were, dot every I, cross every T type people. Surely Jerry Jones has it set up for somebody named Jones in perpetuity to keep that team and not get socked by the tax man or have to sell like so many have had to.
Well, let's remember that's the most valuable franchise in all of sports. It's $5 billion. So everybody's watching every penny. Charlotte Jones Anderson, head of Salvation Army, an amazing woman entrepreneur in her own right. And Stephen Jones wrote a chapter in the Sports Business Handbook that I did. A great entrepreneur as well, and the keys to the Dallas Cowboy Kingdom, as well as the practice facility in Frisco, Texas, and the Star, and all of that. So it's pretty clear, knowing how close you guys are to Arkansas and to Dallas, that the Jones family has it covered.
And Jerry Jones Jr., also one of the 3 children involved.
Exactly.
There, one of the most celebrated cases, and it was sad, and it has affected that franchise, that team, and that symbiotic relationship with our nation's capital when Jack Kent Cooke passed away, and the sons of there's always one that needs the money, and there's always a fight for that kind of money.
Yeah, and Dan Snyder has, you don't want to kind of pile it on, but the legacy of the Redskins certainly is not what it was years ago.
For sure.
Remember how the wait list was just an RFK, and then at this stadium, they're looking for plans for a new stadium. It's not going to be easy because part of getting a new stadium done is that everybody is rowing in the same direction, and they all want it done, and this is going to be very difficult for the Redskins to pull off.
Our guest is Rick Horrow. We talk the business of sports with Rick every Friday afternoon, and it's always fun. It's always insightful. The Pro Bowl, speaking of the NFL, it's returning to Orlando. The game will be January 26, 2020. I don't know how intense people watch it for football, but it always draws a pretty good rating, and Orlando wanted it back badly.
Well, and, Hawaii kind of had it to lose, and they call a little bluff of not spending the amount of money that the NFL wanted. And it reminds me of the Radio City Music Hall negotiations for the NFL draft, where those guys said, you want to take it out? We're going to let you go. It's not important to us. And look what happens now. The draft is all over the country, similar to this. So I don't think the Pro Bowl will stay in Orlando every year, but certainly the connection here with the Super Bowl in Miami, 2 hours to the south, 3 hours to the south, is a big deal. So you're going to have the Pro Bowl 1 week, the Super Bowl the next. Just announced a major LPGA golf tournament I was part of that'll be in Boca Raton. The final day will be Pro Bowl day, and they're going to tie into a lot of Super Bowl festivities down in South Florida as well. Gamebridge company, Group 1001, is the sponsor of that. Not a shameless plug. It's just the fact that all of South Florida is kind of gearing up toward big stuff for 2020.
And this week and next wraps up the most of the golf year before the wraparound. Really, the 2020 season begins. The payout for winning the FedEx Cup now up to $15 million, an increase up from 50% last year. I know, and friends with a lot of people here in the FedEx Sports Marketing Department and with FedEx, the company, just a win-win. FedEx has delivered for the PGA Tour, and the Tour, I think, has delivered back for FedEx in that sponsorship, in that money they spend.
Yeah, I totally agree. And, the fact that $15 million first prize is amazing. I'm actually pretty excited. I'm in Florida today, but I'm on a first flight to Chicago to watch Saturday and Sunday. That's the semifinals now. And in the finals, they kind of tinker with adjusting the handicap leads with certain strokes going into the finals. And they're trying to tinker with the playoffs to make it even more exciting. So this weekend in Chicago is going to be fun. Then Monday, I've got a fourth annual Joe Madden Try Not to Suck golf tournament. He's raising $1 million for charity. That's it. That's Judge Joe Madden. That's what he's calling it.
Yep.
And
that's him.
The Cubs. Yeah, that's him. Unfortunately, Cubs lost a tough one to Philly last night, and they've lost 3 in a row. If I were running a team and I wanted a turnaround, playing Pittsburgh 3 days in a row is the medicine. So maybe by Monday the Cubs will rebound.
That's a pretty good way to get. Well, you have fun at Medina. That looks fantastic on TV, and I think I know we've got a good leaderboard, no cut, so all 69 will be in play over the weekend, and we'll do it again next Friday. Seriously, circle your calendar for that Titans Buccaneers game late October if you want to come down and go to that with us.
We're doing it. It's a done deal, man. You got it.
You got it, Rick Horrow. Have a great weekend, my friend.
See you next week.
You got it. Rick Horrow talking the business of sports with us. And what a weekend to go head up to Medina to watch the last 2 rounds of the weekend at the BMW Championship. And then next weekend, the Tour Championship, sponsored by Coca-Cola down at East Lake, the home of Bobby Jones, when it's narrowed down to just 30 participants next weekend. But really good golf. Have you taken a look at the leaderboard in the last hour to see if we've got any action there, Drew?
I just looked at it I'm looking at it actually right now. Just looked it up to see where my guys are. Both of my guys are -7.
So you're just worried about yourself, huh? It's every man for himself these last 2 weeks, huh?
No. It's every man. It's 3 men versus Dave.
Dave still doesn't realize. He thinks he did that on his picking prowess. He still doesn't realize and have the magnitude of, we took a header for him. It was pro wrestling the week you let him have Kepka here. It's better radio. It's been better radio.
It really has.
He still thinks he's resting on his old laurels, isn't he?
He really is. And I don't know how I couldn't get through his head yesterday that when it comes to him, out of bounds is out of bounds.
That's it.
But with John, What's 4 spots among friends?
And he's the guest.
Dave.
That's
I mean,
right.
come on, man.
He is the guest.
I said it to him 10 times, and he still couldn't get it.
We're going to rank our college football FBS conferences after I tell you about the sponsor this hour, and that's DeSoto Auto Sales, and we sure appreciate them. They specialize in late model cars with low mileage with very high standards in the car industry. All the cars are test driven at DeSoto Auto Sales, all checked out from head to toe, bumper to bumper, unlimited inventory, every make, every model. And if they somehow they don't have it, they'll go out and find it for you. No shortcuts taken at DeSoto Auto Sales, where you're treated like family by kind, courteous employees, laid back, down home atmosphere, no high pressure sales, but they do care about your time and want you to have the ultimate car experience. They know we're living in a world today that time really matters. They want you to walk in, pick out the car you want out on the lot, test drive it, get the credit approved, paperwork done, and be out in about 45 minutes. It's that simple. Check out the referrals at DeSotoAutosales.com, 5704 Goodman Road, 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto County for that town and country experience on Goodman Road at DeSoto Auto Sales. The leader right now of the BMW Classic is Hideki Matsuyama. He's 12 under, 9 under for the day. Patrick Cantlay and Tony Finau at 11 under. Patrick Cantlay a 5 under round today. Tony Finau a 6 under round. I said when we were doing picks on Wednesday, hard for me to believe two great players like Tony Finau and Justin Thomas would go this entire year without winning an event. I couldn't pick both of them, so I took Justin Thomas. He's in 4th, 10 under, 3 under round. Slow start today, but pretty good finish for him. Trying to find no cuts, so all our guys will get some check. Jordan Spieth, 3 under for the tournament, just 1 under today. Justin Rose, John has him, right? 3 under for the tournament, 1 over today. Abraham Answer, 5 under for the tournament, 1 under today. Brooks Koepka, there's Dave's player. Brooks Koepka, 6 under for the tournament, 2 under today. John Rahm, he was 3 under today. So both of you, as you said, both of yours pretty good, both T15. They'll probably be playing with each other tomorrow. You ready to rank our college football conferences in the FBS?
I am ready, but if you looked who's in dead last right now at the BMW or I think Shane Lowry's still drunk.
Well, Shane Lowry, he's T67 with one of my picks, the Georgia Bulldog Keith Mitchell and Harold Varner. They're +2. That won't get you anything there. They get to play this weekend and guaranteed a good check. Shane Lowry, maybe so. It got a little dangerous out there, didn't it?
It really did. I mean, he's
big
getting
Irishman can handle it, though,
close to Alex Ovechkin level.
That would be a really fun drink-off,
if he is still drunk, he's getting really close.
Man, when you have to miss a couple of tournaments the week after, but first major and close enough to home country, but not far from it. Certainly in the neighborhood, it was a fun win. I have 10 conferences ranked. How many do you have for FBS?
10.
That's how many play FBS. I did. Yeah.
Almost made me rethink it there for a second.
You roll through yours first.
All right, I'll start from the bottom at number 10. I have the Sun Belt. Then 9, the MAC. 8, Mountain West. 7, Conference USA. 6, the Pac-12. 5, the American.
No hometown flavor there, is it?
No.
Okay.
No, it's that's what I truly believe. 4, the ACC. 3, Big 12. 2, Big 10. And it just means more in the SEC.
Yeah, we're the same at the top. And before I do mine, look, here's the thing on the SEC. I don't think bottom up it's as good as it was, say, 8, 10, 12 years ago, first part of the 21st century. Since expansion of Mizzou and A&M, I don't think it has been as good bottom up as it has been top down. It is still very good top down. Look, they're all good top down, but I think you're really marked and measured by being, if your number 9's good, number 10's good. You look at the coaches in the SEC compared to, say, the 2008 season. Well, it was just 12 teams in the SEC then, but you had Bobby Petrino at Arkansas. I mean, this guy just came from the National Football League, had done something, and went on and did something at Arkansas and produced a Heisman Trophy winner at Louisville. I think most fair-minded people would say Bobby Petrino more renowned as a coach than their current head coach.
Yes, definitely.
Who's early into it? Look, the same thing at Ole Miss. Who's early into it? Houston Nutt, especially in 2008, viewed much differently then than he is now or at the end of his Ole Miss tenure after taking Arkansas to 2 SEC championship games and having 2 good years his first 2 years at Ole Miss. LSU had Les Miles. Really, who you want? Les Miles or Ed O?
Les Miles.
Les Miles, just about every time. Alabama had Nick Saban, and he was getting it started in 2008. Auburn had Tommy Tuberville. I think Tommy Tuberville is a better football coach than Gus Malzahn.
I don't know. Just as how bad as Tommy Tuberville was at Cincy.
You're remembering the end.
It was. I am remembering the end, and especially the Cincy was just terrible. He was so bad.
And and with the fans, and just the whole look at Cincy was. Texas Tech was not much better.
No, it wasn't.
But on the up, the Ole Miss years and the Auburn years and championships and great teams, undefeated team. I think he's better than Gus Malzahn. Right now at Mississippi State, still so early for Joe Moorhead to really be compared. But I think he's better than Sylvester Croom. Now, right before that at State, you had the end of Jackie Sherrill. No question there, is it?
No question.
You go over to the east side. Am I leaving out anybody from the west? I don't think so. You go over to the east side, 2008, Philip Fulmer versus Jeremy Pruitt.
Give me the AD.
Every time. Urban Meyer or now at Florida.
Urban still stretches it out.
Urban's better than Dan Mullen.
What Dan did at Mississippi State was just incredible.
It was, but Urban Meyer had also done that at Bowling Green and at Utah, and he did it at Florida, and he did it after that at Ohio State. South Carolina, Steve Spurrier versus Will Muschamp.
I'll take the HBC other day.
I say all that to bring it back around to this, and I know this will spark someone at 67129. Bring it on. The SEC, it is not perfect. It is not standalone, just all by itself. It's still the best, and that's why I have them 1 like you did. I have the Big Ten 2. I have the ACC 3. You had them 4. I have the Big 12 4. I still have the Pac-12 5, and then I get into the AAC at 6, and there's such a separation from 6 to 7. Much bigger a separation from 6 to 7 than from 5 to 6, even if I'm right.
Yes, much bigger separation just because – and the reason why I have the American in front of the Pac-12, maybe it's because they're on the West Coast. I don't get to see them a lot. But how many times are you really clamming to see an Arizona game? I mean, when was the last time a Pac-12 team besides Wisconsin really made anything?
That's Big Ten. Wisconsin.
Oh, I meant Washington.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. It's the other W school.
Yeah, and Washington. I got Washington in my football 4.
You've had storylines from the American from multiple schools. You've had the Houston's winning the New Year's Six. You've had Central Florida winning New Year's Six. You've had South Florida competing in a New Year's Six. You had Memphis with great storylines throughout the years. It just hasn't been that big storyline, those big-time programs in a down Pac-12.
Texter at 67129 says the ACC should be number 2. Just saying. Bottom up, I don't think so. Top down, yes. They ended up being the best and had a good bowl season. They did. Remember the Virginia whipping of South Carolina. I round mine out. 8 Sun Belt. 7 CUSA, 8 Sun Belt. I think they play really good football in the Sun Belt. 9 Mountain West, 10 the MAC. 67129. Agree, disagree. About one of the nicest texts ever at 67129. I am taking my youngest up to Knoxville for his freshman year. Enjoy having you ride along. Stats, thank you, Dwayne. Thank you, Dwayne. We appreciate you listening. That is very kind, and I know that won't be easy when you have to drop him off. That will be hard and say goodbye and just don't look in the rearview mirror. When you let them out, just don't look in the rearview mirror. Just pull off. It'll crush you if you look in what's really going to crush you is how happy they're going to be of you pulling off. Just don't overthink it, Dwayne. That is what it's going to be like.
And that thing that looks like a happy dance he's doing, it's really sad. He's really heartbroken inside.
That's it. When we come back, we will do a lively round of high hard ones. If you have a high hard question for either one of us, submit it at 67129 at the First Bank text line, or give us a call at 360-8255. Dave's out. He will be back on Tuesday. He'll be out on Monday as well. Then I'm going to take a little time off next week, and the whole gang will be back together on game week. You're listening to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats on Real Sports Talk Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7.
Get happy with Johnny Radio's Happy Hour. Weekday afternoons from 1 till 3 on Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7.
I want to invite you to come by the Spirit Shop. You know, that little log cabin on Poplar? Your liquor and wine oasis. The Spirit Shop has been providing sports fans their beverage needs since way back in 1969. So come in now and get ready for the big game. Whether your favorite team wins or loses, the Spirit Shop will help you celebrate or ease that pain away. The Spirit Shop is open every day, and they're located perfectly at 4848 Poplar. That's the corner of Poplar and St. Nick. The folks at Homer Skelton Hyundai want to say thank you. Thank you, Memphis, for another spectacular year. They set records, but I can understand why. You think about the product. Where else do you get a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty? That's what you get on every new car at Homer Skelton Hyundai. Oh, and thank you again for the 11th straight year, the #1 certified pre-owned car dealership in all of Memphis. It starts with that product, but then it goes to the shopper assurance. Where else do you go where you get transparent pricing, flexible test drive, take the car for a couple of days if you want, streamlined buying process? You're not going to be there all day, in and out. And then, and I have not seen this anywhere else, the 3-day worry-free exchange. You buy a new car, if you've got any buyer's remorse, you've got 3 days to change your mind. Just get on Lamar, take it into Mississippi, the first exit's Craft Road, turn left, and go see Chris True and all the gang at Homer Skelton Hyundai.
Hi, folks. Bob Burkheimer for Sunrise Chevy. The Sunrise Chevy Ranch has over 500 new vehicles to choose from with interest low as 0% and rebates up to $7,500. A $5 million used car inventory specializing in late model GM certified and cars and trucks under $10,000. Bad credit, bankrupt, slow pay, it's okay. Sunrise gets you financed when no one else can. Check out the inventory and apply online at sunrisememphis.com or call us on the phone. Come in and see us, go online or call. Any way you do it, we'll save you money at the Sunrise Chevy Ranch, partner. 385 in Houston, Levy, and Collierville. Find new roads.
I can't believe it. That Gerald is presenting the quarterly budget report with finger puppets?
Look, here comes a 1.7% decrease in fixed overhead. Hello, everybody.
No, I can't believe how easy it was to save hundreds of dollars on my car insurance with Geico.
Who are you? The projected increase in organic Q3 revenue. Hooray!
Believe it, Geico could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Got something you want to get off your chest?
You better have a backup plan.
Want to join the conversation?
Someone needs to tell him he has to grow up.
Join us on the First Bank phone lines at 360-8255 or the First Bank text line at 67129. Welcome back to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Wolosian and Brad Norsworthy.
I don't know if I've ever laughed harder doing a radio show on these airwaves than yesterday when we almost got in trouble with Harry Carey and his propensity for spelling things backwards. Dave almost lost it. Did you notice it?
He did almost lose
We've
it.
got Dave laughing more than he's ever laughed, don't we?
We really have. I don't know if I've ever heard Dave laugh this much, but you know what made me laugh yesterday? And I can't say it when we talk about Wolo going halfway across the world. I still am laughing. Laughing.
Stop.
Inside joke for people.
Stop. We're going to get in trouble. We got to be really, really careful because it was almost uncontained yesterday. I mean, throw to a break without us throwing to a break. It was close to that, wasn't it?
It got close.
All right, time for high hard ones. We got a couple at 67129. Let them pour in. We'll do this. More buzz. This is a great one. More buzz for Tigers' New Year's Day Bowl or for a Sweet 16. Drew, you take a swing at it first. We'll let the listeners and callers do our work for us. I got a big list of stuff. That's better than anything I came up with.
It kind of is. It is a little bit better than anything I came up. Great question. Personally, Tigers have been to a Sweet 16. I've been to a Final Four. I've been to a national championship game. I've never been to a New Year's Day Bowl. And plus, if you really made me sit down and rank my love for football or basketball at the University of Memphis, football's number one. For me, it would be so much more meaningful for the New Year's Six Bowl.
It all matters, but you nailed it, and you nailed it from a true blue graduate, diehard Tiger perspective. Better than I could, because it means so much. It matters to me, but it means so much to you. You nailed it. I'm telling you, if the Tigers are in the Cotton Bowl during the national anthem, you're going to be a mess.
Oh, waterworks will come.
Oh, you're going to be a disaster. Now, if it's final game of the year in college basketball, but he did say Sweet 16, and I think you nailed it.
I was almost in tears down in Orlando 2 years ago. Never thought I'd ever see the Tigers in a conference championship game. Like, that was incredible for me to go. I had to go to that. I could not miss it.
July show, and we're already into August, and we're plowing into September, so we'll do it next July. I don't think anything better than happy sports tears.
There really isn't.
In fact, I don't think I ever have a defeated, sad sports tear. I don't. I got real things to cry about.
I've had one.
I don't think I won't say ever, but I can't remember
not
one.
my adult life. Now,
yeah, I know what you're talking about.
My dad happened to pick me up off the floor in the Alamo Dome. There was a lot of waterworks going.
Well, back to that, Drew. Boy, it was scarring, wasn't it?
It really was.
But now, look, I don't think anybody thinks you're going to win every time you go out there, and you got to be better adjusted to that. But then the thrill of victory, heck, I might shed a few in a few weeks on August 31st, because I
wear my emotions on my sleeve. I might just start choking up right now. I'm not either.
I'm not at all ashamed of it. In fact, I'm proud of it, because I tell people that's what I like most about sports: the competition and the emotion. Another one at 67129. Hard question. How many years will it take Les Miles to get to a bowl game at Kansas, or will he ever? Last part first. He will, but how long?
I believe he will, and I'm going to give Les Miles the benefit of the doubt just because of what I've seen him be able to do. He is the Mad Hatter for a reason. I'll say 3. I'll give him 3 years.
So not 19, not 20, but 21?
I will say 21.
I will too.
Get 2 good, solid recruiting classes in.
This year, the ham and egg 4-8.
3-9 probably, if I had to sit down and do it.
Next year, a little bit improvement.
Looking at 4-8, 4-8, but hey, we were in some games, and then the year after that, squeak out the 6-6.
Get you a little quarterback, get your identity, yada. How come people always say yada, 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 not just one yada, like I just went? Well, I'm going to save the yadas.
Well, yeah, it doesn't sound right.
I didn't know where that came from forever. I thought a girlfriend buddy of mine in Little Rock, I thought that was her deal. And I thought it was really cool. She came up. I never watched 1 second of Seinfeld. I had no clue that's where it came from.
I didn't know that's where it came from. I knew it was a popular expression.
All right, hit our music. Let's do it.
Just a bit outside.
Me first or you first? What do you want to do?
Dealer's choice. You can pick.
I'll go first. The Tiger season goes perfect. Like Texture alludes to, New Year's Day, tears flowing at the Cotton Bowl. That's just in pregame. Imagine postgame. Mike Norvell is the head coach, but after he goes undefeated, he gets the call to move on, and he takes it. Where would it really bother you to see Mike Norvell go? For him to get the Cal treatment. If Mike Norvell left the Tigers after that successful year and he went to where, that would turn you on Mike Norvell?
There's a few that I know he wouldn't take because one, the job wouldn't be open.
Be careful.
I don't think it'll be open against our home opening opponent. I don't think it's going to be open on the east side of the state. I know we haven't played in a long time, but any diehard Tiger fan knows, and especially growing up in it, he better not go to Louisville. He goes to Louisville.
Got a first-year guy. I think you're insulated there.
Yeah,
what about Auburn? If he went to Auburn, would that necessitate the Cal treatment?
No. I don't really have anything personal against Auburn, and to tell you the fact, we actually have a winning record against Auburn, 2-1. So can't really be that upset about that.
So good luck. Go get them.
Good luck. Go get them. Hey, go Tigers.
You for me.
All right. Being someone that's been to both stadiums, should the Cotton Bowl, the game, leave Jerry's World and go back to the Cotton Bowl Stadium?
Well, that's really tough because the old Fair Park site, she's never looked better, and I've seen it. Oh, I saw it on a few years there. That don't waste the bulldozer on it. Then they spent a lot of money and got it back really nice. OU Texas should stay there, and it will. It's a long-term deal at Jerry's World, so it's not going to be anytime soon. But and Jerry's World tried to get OU Texas and just can't. Just too good a deal from Fair Park, from the Cotton Bowl people. It's at the right place, so now it is to control to charge what you're going to charge for those tickets, for it being in the college football playoff system. You don't want to be out there at some of the weather you could get outside at Fair Park.
Well, let me ask you this. When it's not in the rotation, should it be at Fair Park?
No, because they have to have that dry run, that practice for when they have it there. I don't think the Cotton Bowl is really chomping to get back to hosting the finals again. They did it, I think, the first year, right? That they really didn't like their participation in that. They like just being a playoff game and getting one of the semifinal games ever so often, and then having their Cotton Bowl Classic. The Rose Bowl Stadium will probably not ever be the setting for the national championship game. They want to keep their Big Ten Pac-12 thing going, except when they're semis, like when I was lucky enough to go for Georgia and Oklahoma. It's why you're going to see it. Maybe some head scratchers, far-flung places, like, why are they doing it in Los Angeles at that new stadium? Why are they doing it at Vegas? Why are they trying it at Indianapolis? Maybe a Minneapolis. Last year out in Santa Clara. All right, 20 years of AutoZone Park close to an end. I'm going tonight. What would you do to spark interest and get bigger crowds at AutoZone Park? Because sadly, frankly, most nights the crowds are horrible. What would you do to spark interest?
It's the easiest solution in the world, but probably the hardest one to do. They do it every Thursday for $2 beers, $1 hot dogs. Have that every game. I'm tired. I like going to the games, but it's way too expensive. I mean, I buy 2 chair back seats right on the third or first base line. That's $18 a pop. I'm looking at $36 there. Then I want 2 beers. That's another $18. I want a hot dog. That's another $6. My fiance, she wants something to eat. She wants maybe a pizza. That's another $6.
You get up $100 bill on a Thursday night at a Redbirds.
Yes, we get another round, and that's another $18. And that's not even including tipping, because I do tip.
I don't say this with any glee that the crowds most nights are not very good. Some nights are better than others. The Saturday night fireworks are a lot of fun. Friday night crowds usually are pretty good. At least 5 more days of the week, though, right there.
Yeah.
Thursday, they're trying with the nostalgia with the chicks. I think that's been a little overdone with everything kind of going chicks-centric that night. Memphis Chicks, the team, the logo, the thing. But you nailed it. There's no doubt. Make it cheaper. How about a $4 beer? A $4 12-ounce beer, you're still $5. $5. You're still making money, aren't you? Sure,
yes.
You are.
I mean, I can go to the store, buy a 6-pack of Budweiser
$7.
$7.28.
Okay. $3.50 sodas, $4 soda.
Easy. You can buy a 12-pack of Coke for $2.90. At Kroger.
Hot dogs a little cheaper. The pizza a little cheaper. Everything needs to be a little cheaper around sports, but especially there.
All right, you got a pen handy and ready?
I think so. Go ahead.
All right.
No math, is it?
No math.
No artistry. I don't have to draw anything.
No. Rank these former American athletic coaches at their current job. Matt Rule at Baylor. Willie Taggart at Florida State. Tom Herman at Texas. And Justin Fuente at Virginia Tech.
So rank those four.
Rank those
I think's
four.
best. Okay.
At their best at their current job.
I'll start with Herman 1. I will go Rule 2, barely. And last year was a tough year for Justin Fuente. I would have him third and just 1 year in, but not that great at Oregon, but really good at Western Kentucky. I would have Willie Taggart 4. This is a big year for Justin Fuente, and he told everybody he knows this time last year, this year, 2018, it's going to be tough. I mean, it's going to be boot leather, tough year. It was. You read the story out there now that he had player insurrection of players that were trying to lose the last regular season game to Marshall, and younger players took over the locker rooms and no, we're not taking a dive. You can forget that. And he's dealing with that and dealing with the transfer portal and dealing with some internal strife that I think he will get cleaned up, and I hope he does. All right, give me the something different college football playoff. The 4 teams in the college football playoff that we would dub something different. Give me something different from Bama, Clemson, Ohio State. Give me something different. Who would with some reality?
With some reality.
I told you I probably should give you a heads up for that one. I'll give you mine first and you can think about it.
Okay.
One of mine will be one of my teams. Washington. Can we call Texas different?
I think we can.
Michigan. Can we call Michigan different?
Yeah, 1 national championship.
And the Texter that's advocating for the ACC, he'll get a heck yeah out of this. Syracuse. Could they thread the needle?
That's not realistic. I don't think that's realistic.
You don't think Syracuse is even realistic?
No.
They've said at home, Clemson even have a one-loss win the ACC?
I don't think it's realistic, and the reason why I had the ACC, I believe, 3rd, 4th on my list is because when you get down to the nitty-gritty of the ACC and you're talking about Syracuse being your 2nd-best team in the conference, that's not a very good conference.
Direct those texts to Drew Barrett at Sports 56. That was Drew.
Bring it on. That's just how it is. Come on, Syracuse is your 2nd-best team?
So you're saying we really can't have a different football 4?
I think we can. It just there has to be more reality to it. We're not talking out there. There's not going to be a Syracuse, a BYU, a Wake Forest, a NC State. What we're looking at is out there. We're looking at Washington's. We're looking at Florida's. We're looking at Texas.
Texas A&M different?
I think Texas A&M is out there. I think that's a little bit more realistic. Not this year. But
LSU different? Texter asked that. Is LSU different? They were in the bowl in the playoff games last year in the Fiesta against UCF, but in the football 4, is that different enough?
I think it is, just because we have the last 3 years we've had we've had 3 of the same teams.
We can't be different with anybody from the SEC because outside of here, everybody lumps it all into one. It's one monolith. I don't think anything out of the SEC, but one more for me.
All right, let me figure out which one I want to do. Okay, we'll go with this one. With Ohio State trying to trademark the word "the," will more schools try to trademark words to use on clothing that other schools can't? For example, Mississippi State trademarks Mississippi. Would they try it?
I don't think you can, but again, I'm not a patent and trademark.
I didn't think you could trademark the word "the."
I didn't either. And I learned to say it as "the." I'm hearing some people say that the only way you pronounce it is "the." It's either or either, isn't it?
It's either either, and the way I like to use it is if
Ohio State says "the," they don't say "the."
No, I look at that's the trash can. But if it's in a very important trash can, that's the trash can. You know what I mean? The is more important.
I don't know that I ever go "the."
It has some emphasis on it. The is just like any common thing to me.
That is the clock or the clock, and we're out of time, aren't we? It's time to get to
a little bit.
One more really, really, really quick. Give me your something different World Series. The something different within reality World Series. Because that's coming up. That's next. in the sports championship world. Tampa Bay, Washington? Is that realistic? Yeah.
Yes, I think that's realistic. Something different.
You know what ratings that would draw? Zip.
I'd still watch it.
I would too, because I'm going to watch any World Series. We got a break. The clock says it's getting close to that time, and getting close to that time at the end of the week. You are listening to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Sports 56 now has 2 FM homes. You can now find Real Sports Talk on 96.1 as well as 87.7 on your FM dial.
Are you tired of all the clouds and bad weather? Rain brings pollutants that can wreak havoc on your car's finish, but there is someone who can help. Car Wash USA Express has introduced their most advanced car wash yet with the exclusive Polymer Pro Wash, creating a stronger, more consistent protective sealant for your car's finish. Polymer Pro can only be found at Car Wash USA Express, where attendants are always on duty to keep you and your vehicle safe. For more information and locations, visit carwashusaexpress.com. Car Wash USA Express, because a dirty car is a dirty shame.
Hi, this is John Conway with Conway Services. Have you ever noticed your air conditioning system never breaks down at a good time? We know at Conway Services the timing's not always right to replace your air conditioning systems. That's why we have financing options available. Right now, during the dog days of summer, get your new Carrier air conditioning system for as low as $99 per month. That's right, Conway Services has new Carrier air conditioning systems as low as $99 per month. Now, you could do that. Plus, your new air conditioning system comes with a 10-year parts warranty, a free Nest thermostat, and you know with Conway Services, you'll be receiving our award-winning service every time. So call Conway Services, the Mid-South's premier heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric service company at 384-3511. That's 384-3511. And the first 30 callers with a 10-year-old air conditioning system will come out and inspect it absolutely free.
Call 384-3511. Conway Services. Call Conway today.
Family Leisure is celebrating the end of summer with the appropriately titled End of Summer Liquidation Sale. You can get pools for as low as $19.99, patio furniture starting at $12.99, and swim spas, they begin at $99.99. Don't forget to ask about fast installation because there's still enough summer left to enjoy these deals during the End of Summer Liquidation Sale happening now at Family Leisure. Family Leisure, Whitten Road and I-40, where family and fun come together.
You already know you can listen to Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7 anywhere with the Sports 56 app or at sports56whbq.com. But you can also keep up to date with everything going on by keeping up with Sports 56 on social media. Be sure to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch for information on breaking news, chances to win prizes, and video of all the shows. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Stay in touch with Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7 on social media. Welcome back to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Wolosian and Brad Norsworthy.
This is for all the biggest crunch time. You are looking live. It's crunch time. In your life have you seen anything like that?
We'll take questions again for the student athletes at this time, please.
He's a professional. He's pretty classy for his age.
In the crunch time, that's the frustrating part. Little Penny could make some appearances this year.
Okay, I'm not huge into stats.
Has it always been this way?
It's crunch time, so I got a different mind state.
What's happening, big dog? How you doing?
Is this thing working?
Immediately when the buzzer sounds, he lets out this shriek.
He threw those ears forward. He was in stroke mode.
This is stupid.
It's obviously crunch time.
Time for Taco Bell Crunch Time. Taco Bell, home of the crispy tortilla chips, topped with a double portion of either seasoned beef or shredded chicken, plus refried beans, nacho cheese sauce, reduced fat sour cream, guacamole, and a 3-cheese blend. Nachos Bel Grande, heaping portion of chips, topped with ground beef, tomatoes, beans, nacho cheese sauce, and a dollop of sour cream. Taco Bell, home to great food you get on your way home real fast, and they bring you crunch time every day. Drew, it may just be me, but here at the end of the week, was the bell a little loud today?
It was. I had it turned up a little bit.
You had the bell on excessive loud today?
A little bit.
Okay, well, it kept me awake. Thank you. I'm very glad of that.
Just trying to make sure nobody's falling asleep on their way home.
That's right. I learned last night, and we talked about it today. Kyler Murray, look, he looked like a rookie last night. He's going to look like a rookie a lot this year until he gets some help. He could look bad into next year. Dwayne Haskins needs to play more for Washington. I don't think Arizona's trying to show very much. They're huddling up more than they will in the regular season, but they're not going to be very good this year. That offense is not very good at all right now, and Kyler Murray with 12 yards passing, it could be a rough year on him. But what a year he had. A year ago, we really just knew him as that guy that transferred from A&M.
And that guy who just got a whole lot of money from the A's.
And then he won a Heisman Trophy and had OU in the college football playoffs. What'd you learn today?
Well, learned it today, knew it was going to happen eventually. Learned today that former Tiger Kevon Davenport has signed with Harpol late in Israel. Knew it was going to happen. I know I butchered that name, but we'll be playing in Israel this season. Kevon Davenport, definitely one of the best Tigers in the last couple of years, and especially with all the turmoil that's gone on, Kevon was at least somewhat of a steady piece.
Yeah, it was fun to watch him last year. Sometimes could be inconsistent.
But still a good ball player.
He was, and I think will be beloved. This year, how many players off this team will be people will be talking about till the end of time, just off this team.
And I don't think anybody off this team right now is going to be signing with Israel.
I don't think so either. I could have done without the Boogie Cousins injury. I speculated yesterday that it cost him $100 million. I was half right. Reported today that his injuries have now cost him in excess of $200 million. He's made a lot of money. He's set for life. But another $200 million just wouldn't hurt anybody, would it?
No, I'll gladly take an extra $200 million.
$200 million that he lost, and it's why I am so pro-player on these contracts. I know it eventually gets down to us, the consumer, to the ticket buying public. It's hard to complain in one aspect, in one breath about the ticket prices and concession prices, and then say you're so pro-player, but I am and I did. What is it you could have done without? My hypocrisy?
No, I could have done without another injury. I could have done without the injury to Tavon Young last night during the Ravens-Packers game. Young suffered a neck injury that will keep him out for the entire 2019 season. Luckily, it could have been worse.
No paralysis?
No. I think emotion is all good. Just going to take it steady. You never want to mess with anything with the neck. And when you see the words neck injury pop across the screen, you really hold your breath for a minute. Could have been a lot worse.
Still
hate that it happened.
In the 70s, the Tigers had a player with the Oakland Raiders, Ray Jamison, a good fullback type, blocking back type, and he had spinal cord injury and paralysis from it. And I wouldn't think there are many areas outside of our area more sensitive to that, with Bill Crumbie at Memphis State and with Chucky Mullins at Ole Miss. Any time that kind of injury is playing out, we're sensitive to it in this area. We know how the gravity and seriousness of it. What are you keeping a close eye on this weekend?
Keeping a close eye on, even though we're already mathematically eliminated from winning the East, I'm going to keep a close eye on the O's at Red Sox this weekend. 9-1 FC in Birmingham.
You know, if the Orioles sweep or even win that series, chicken, salad, spread, slung, everywhere. The Red Sox. Everywhere. They may go over to the O's clubhouse and
sling
their chicken salad around.
I'm also going to keep a close eye on more preseason football during week 2 over the weekend. Going to keep definitely a close eye on John Rahm and Brant Snedeker at the BMW Championship, because like you said, it's every man for himself. I'm trying to win this.
And we'll keep a close listen on the Blue and Gray Show Sunday night.
Yes,
what do y'all got
Blue and
coming
Gray Show on Friday from 5 to 7.
On Sunday.
On Sunday, sorry, my bad. Gabe Kuhn in studio with me and John. President M. David Rudd will be on the phone, along with some other surprise callers.
Very good, very good. I'm headed to AutoZone Park, that I've talked about a couple of times today. Looking forward to it tonight, my 17th and final trip to AutoZone Park. We'll see Dylan Carlson, the next big thing in the Cardinals farm system, up last night against the I-Cubs. They will probably win that division this year unless the Redbirds pull something miraculous in the head-to-head competition against them this weekend and the last weekend of the season. NFL preseason Patriots in Nashville against the Titans. They've been there all week for practices, but they play the game tonight in Nashville. The Patriots against the Titans. The Titans beat them last year during the regular season. Cowboys, Rams in Honolulu this weekend. Seattle at Minnesota on Sunday. The BMW, we'll watch that. Every man for himself. BMW in Chicago the last weekend of golf this year. Baseball, Cleveland and the Yankees. Milwaukee and the Nats. The Cards at the Reds. And Dodgers at Atlanta. That used to be a big National League West rivalry, Drew. I'll explain it to you someday. Reds were in the West, too. It was weird geography-wise.
Y'all had globes back then, right?
Yeah, we did. But we walked to school back then. Astros, A's. Last weekend without college football for about 5 months, and that sounds great to say. For Drew, for Dave, I'm Brett. Everybody have a great weekend. We'll talk to you on Monday.
Hey, Tiger fans, this is John Stacy of the Blue and Gray Show. You can hear Drew Barrett and I talk Tigers with Tigers every Sunday at 5 right here on Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7. Drew, who do we got in the studio with us this week?
This week on the Blue and Gray Show, joining John in studio, Sports 56's very own and former Memphis lineman Gabe Kuhn. The president of the U of M, David Rudd, will be calling in, along with some other surprise callers.
Thanks, Drew. We'll be here Sunday on Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7. The Blue and Gray Show, where we talk Tigers with Tigers.
The Vergas family, legendary Memphis restaurateur, starting with Mr. Charlie and continuing today with his grandchildren.
Brett, it just dawned on me the other day that while Memphis is celebrating its bicentennial, the Rendezvous has been here well over one-third of Memphis's existence. Someone asked me if we remember the day the Rendezvous started, and I tell them no, because if we thought it was going to last this long, we'd have kept much better records. But we're not a place to rest on our laurels or reputation. We're always trying to add new things to make our customers' experience more enjoyable. Friday lunches have always been special because we give away our red beans and rice. But we are now adding a sausage sandwich. It's the same sausage we serve on our cheese and sausage plate, but it will be served lengthwise on a bun with